in Quebec. So like all of the curse words are that.
French curse.
At last.
The king's back and the throne's mine. The future's here and it's my time. Straight shot, going for the head with it. Take his head off and say that I did it. Good riddance. Say hi to the bad guy, I'm back in business. If you took what's mine, I'm back to get it. There's nothing you can do, I'm back with vengeance. Now turn me loose. Now turn me loose.
Hey, I appreciate everybody for coming on through. I apologize. Everybody has a life, okay? I do scheduling every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central Time. But again, I'm not paying my guests. My guests are free, okay? So if they come on here and they say, hey, I'm going to be 20 minutes late, 30 minutes late, guess what? I appreciate their time. Their time is money for me, all right? And they add extra perspective because nobody want to hear me run my mouth solo dolo because I know they judge me all the time. It's all good. So appreciate you, Ruby. Again, happy belated birthday, Wes. I appreciate you, Inky. Did what's his name, Lauren H, get the memo of tonight or no?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. I did put a post on my community page for her to come over, so hopefully she'll swing in.
Okay, she's more than welcome. Last week we had a guest, Traveling Fools. He had I think his mom is sick, so we're gonna keep his mom in our prayers. So he's in the ER with his mom. So that's that part. So again, that's why I said everybody got a life. So if I even Cookie, she was a guest on here, I think like twice, where we covered something, but she's a teacher, so she is taking care of the students because they're doing, I think they got volleyball season, something like that. So that part. Anyhow, I want to get this out of the way because my homeboy, the Do Better podcast, he had a question. So we're going to do a 3-part topic because I don't think one topics we kind of, I don't want to beat down one topic, but we got a 3-part topic of conversation. So one is my homeboy, the Do Better podcast. He was reviewing a woman that is 61, 62 years old, and her standards was, hey, I feel like I deserve a man. So her criteria was 61 years old, and she want a man to make at least the bare minimum $100K a year. So, yeah, that was he did a reaction of that, and then he had a thought of a question. I told him that I was actually kind of have us on this end kind of chime in on that conversation and see what we thought about that. So let me replay this. All right, so definitely shout out to Do Better podcast. Very entertaining over there. I say, and every content creator that I've seen, even down to Team Fatty, Do Better podcast is right there on the top next to Duke of Dawn, because Duke of Dawn is very informal and he's entertaining. Do Better podcast just do a lot of reactions to Kendra G, some other content creators out there, and give his perspective. And he go El Pollo Loco on them. So he's a good conversation. It's very funny, and the chat is very involved and everything. So he got the Do Better squads over there. So shout out to them. So here we go. Let me make sure I got this in order. Okay, cool.
I don't even care. But yeah, Mona Deep, I would like to do a deep dive as to why women have taken the word average and turned it into a slur. It's literally a slur to them. The word average. It's insane, man. It's insane. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get out here. They're going to sacrifice. Possibly, bro. Possibly. I'm like, he lost like 7 lives. Yeah. Tomato. Man, I'll buy another cat, bro. you know why? Because I got money.
It's all about the motherfucking money.
Buy another goddamn cat, bro. Appreciate it. Let me borrow $100 so I can put this gold grill on layaway. I'm telling you, bro. I was like, bro, What do you?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Because he called me, asked for a nice. Here's my thing on loaning people money. I don't loan people money that I'm gonna be pissed if I don't get it back. So he asked for one. I was like, no, he asked for 1,000. And I was like, what?
Access denied.
I'm not giving you $1,000. I was like, I give you 500. And he was like, bet.
Bang! It's good.
I gave him a spiel on how I like to get my money back the same way I don't borrow $500 from me and think you're gonna pay me $100 a week for 5 weeks. Like, no, nigga, nope.
Access denied.
Nope, I don't do that shit. Did I give it to you like that? Give me my money the way I have it back. I cashed at him. He cashed at me back a day before he said he was gonna pay me. So a day early. I ain't mad at that.
Bang! It's
Enjoy your
good.
vacation. 100K in St. Louis. You doing good? Hell yeah. Millionaires in there. Joe Smith. Millionaires in their mind, bro. Couldn't have said it any other place, man. Yes, I'll look into that as well. I'm telling you, that would be something that would be dope. That would be a dope. I've been thinking about that for a long time. Like, what is it that really gets them? I think it's also a mixture of social media's influence. They sit on social media because women, if you guys don't know, women consume social media more than men do. So they sit on here on IG, scroll through the shit, and they see all these chicks up here in Dubai, this kind of shit, not knowing that it was Bukkake Monday before they got on the goddamn plane, and they porta potting them bitches. You know what I'm saying? Hold on.
Chocolate. This is doo-doo, baby.
That's what they.
All right, so minus the sharing the money part, loaning money out to the homeboy. So, New York City, I'm telling you. So the question pretty much he focused on is like why women taking the word average as a slur. Like why a lot of women now is talking about average is like the negative. Like because I thought I thought we was all average. You know, like what's extraordinary about us as humans? Anybody here got some special abilities that I don't know about? Can we see through walls? Can we leap through tall buildings? You know, I know the human condition. We like to push ourselves. We like to, you know, if I can bench, what's my weight? If I could bench over 200 and Wes say, hey, I could do 350, good for you. But you still can bleed the same. You know, I still hit you in a vital point. I could still knock you out. We know people like the best boxer in the world. That right hit, Wes, it can still take you out. So why everybody so deemed on? Because he's focused on the women, but
men are not insulted by the concept by the term average. We understand it. We're okay with it, but I think we're dealing with the delusion of modern feminism, and you have all these women on Instagram every day, all day, and it's not all women, but the women that are causing the problem for everyone else. They're on Instagram every day, all day, using their makeup filters and such, and doing everything can to get likes. They think getting likes on Instagram or other social media equates to social value, and then somebody sets them straight, says, "No, you're just average, and these are a bunch of desperate men without jobs," and they don't know how to interpret that.
Well, see, I disagree, actually. And I mean, that's been the line of discussion for a long time, that men have no problem with being labeled average. Bull, total bull. And this is why I'll say it's total bull, because when we're talking about average, no one has a problem with being called average if you're saying it in a way that's not meant to put down, demean, or otherwise make someone smaller or lesser than in some way. And that's how people are using the term average when they're referring to women and their looks in particular, right? When a woman says, I have these standards for what I want in dating, or this is how I like to be treated, or whatever, right? People say you're just average, as in you're not good looking enough for you to have standards, or at least the standard that you've laid out, right? So that's not the same thing as women rebelling against the concept of average. What does average mean, right? I think most people would agree that depending on what state you're in, what city you're in, or whatever, right? Average there is going to be different, right? So maybe in New York or in California, in some of these model towns, right? Or Brazil or whatever, right? The average woman there is going to be rated as beautiful, right? Whereas in the way people are using the word average is to say you're not beautiful, you're not cute, you're all right, you're not ugly, you're just there, right? And so you can't really trade on your looks. And that's a totally different story. Men have a problem with being called average when it's to do the same thing to them, right? So if we were to tell men that as average men, they don't deserve a wife, they don't deserve a woman, they don't deserve an attractive woman, they don't deserve a woman who will give them blowjobs except for once a year on their birthday, they don't deserve. As soon as you start telling men what they don't deserve as a result of being average, they have to be above average in order to get access to like what would be like a bare minimum requirement for them, then they start having a problem with being called average. That's really what it is.
Inky?
I agree. Ruby, man, when she talks, she just spits out so well.
Until somebody disagrees with her and they jump on the
But
panel.
even then, she convinced me to change my whole perspective. If you remember correctly, I was like, "Dang, she said that so well." Even she convinced me. So I mean, great. She's amazing. She'd do great in persuasive speeches. I think when it comes to average, I think everybody wants to be unique in their own way, and they don't want to be perceived as average. They want to be unique and special to that special someone.
Well, you can, but but why I feel like they need to because you can't be unique on everything, right? You just can't. Like, I don't think I'm the best. Like, you gave a compliment to Ruby about how she's assessed everything. I'm not the best person doing that. So I prefer like the whole conversation. That's my strength. Let me navigate the conversation as it goes. Because yeah, maybe a gym or two, so I might pick it out. But that's as far as I think I'm a good listener. But that's not gonna have everybody on the street say, "Oh my God, Grey Pill the best." Let's run to Grey Pill. No. Yeah.
And you carry characteristics of your calm demeanor and your way of diffusing things. You're very, very good at that.
But I feel like
where I get into a discussion even on my own panel, and I'm just almost into bickering mode before I was like, wait, I remember Grey Pill said you're just gonna have to agree to disagree sometimes. So, I actually had to use that the other day. So and it's true. I just don't always think that way because we try to explain to somebody that maybe not understanding the question or whatnot to convince them otherwise. Like Ruby was really good. She really changed my thought process on the whole topic last time. But what I mean by unique is everyone has their own uniqueness. It doesn't necessarily mean they're unique in everything, like you're saying. Like everyone has their own little personality quirks and things that make them unique. You can't be perfect in everything or unique in everything. You can't. That'd be impossible to do.
So why are majority of these women but like, yo, average? If I say, hey, I'm just an average guy, and a lot of women be like, yo, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something better than average. I want a man above average. So what is?
I think that would be arrogance. I think that's women trying to be arrogant. Like they think that they're so special that they need someone that is just that unique and perfect. To me, that's arrogance.
Well, and I agree with you there. I do think there are definitely some women who, they they drink their own Kool-Aid, they bought into their own filtered Instagram existence or whatever, right? Yeah. Obviously. So I have to agree there, but I want to add another aspect to that, right? Is because we are using the word average, and we do this in society, whether we're talking about our own gender, the opposite gender, or whatever, we use the word average to denote lesser than, right? So when we're talking about the average man, right? If some guy's defining himself as average, first of all, a lot of women are going to take that as almost like he's negging himself. He's knocking himself down several pegs. He's just average, so he doesn't think there's anything good or special or whatever about him. And he's also saying he only earns about $40,000 a year, and just has a normal job and no career. There's nothing about him that's going to make him special or have him rise up at any point. And then when you hear all of this discussion about the fact that $40,000 a year is not even enough to make ends meet as just like an individual with a wife, and that's it, no kids, no college funds, no 401ks, no retirement funds, right? then people are like, well, no, that doesn't sound like what I want to sign up for. I don't want to sign up for someone who's good with, we're just going to live paycheck to paycheck and hopefully we die before we need a pension because we're not going to have one, right? So I think there's a lot of connotations to it.
Question on that. How common is it for a woman, when she's starting to get to know a man, to ask about his 401k? Most men would consider that to be very fishy.
Yeah, intrusive. I'd say intrusive. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends. And this is
if I started talking to a woman and she's like, "So, get any 401ks?" I'd be like,
Hold on, is that on first date or second date though?
No, but I think that's the point, right? Is that
Chinese spies.
It is fishy to ask, deep probing questions like that. So what we're all doing when we're on these first dates are taking the very surface things that we're allowed to talk about and making inferences, right? So we can't ask you about your 401k or your pension funds or We can't ask you about stuff like that. So we ask you things like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or what are your passions? Or we ask you questions like that because we're trying to get a gauge on, like, what do you think about yourself? What do you think about life? How have you been laid out your life? Are you self-actualized as an individual? Do you even want to be? Are you good with just going with the flow and being a sheep? Do you want it? We're trying to evaluate these things about you and see how well it lines up with us. And especially as women, since, generally most women want a man who's going to take the lead, be the head of a household, right? Then we're falling underneath you. So if that's the case, and that's what we're going to do, and we're going to put all that trust in this man, then yeah, we need to know that you're not leading us off a cliff, right? Or leading us into ruination and starvation. So.
And the 401k is the real linchpin for you?
Well, it's not just the 401k though. That's the whole point. When the guy calls himself average and he doesn't think that there's anything special about himself, about his life, about his ability to anything, he's just average. To me, I would think right away that maybe he lacks confidence in himself, or maybe he lacks direction, maybe he lacks self-efficacy. So he doesn't believe in himself, in his ability to do anything, whether it's to develop a certain career path or what it would be to, make people financially stable, like himself and his family, or whatever it is. When you start just calling yourself, I'm just average. That's all there is about me. I'm average, right?
Well, see, if you meet a man and he says, well, I'm just kind of an average guy, do you think he's putting himself down?
I think a lot of women do see it that way.
No,
yeah.
Men are not doing that. When they say, yeah, I'm kind of an average guy. I work, I go home, I got kids that I take care of. I'm just an average guy. A woman looks at that and says, oh my goodness, how dare he call himself average? Obviously, there's nothing going on here.
Yes, and that's the problem, right? Men and women.
Wouldn't that be a problem with a woman then?
No, because men and women don't speak the same language, right? And the same way that it's wrong for women to think that men should be women, right? Men also shouldn't think that women should be men. So men and women logic differently, we think differently, and different things make us react in different ways, right?
So use that as kind of a litmus in the baseline. Mm-hmm. You're looking at this guy, he calls himself average, but then you look at everything he's got, he's like, oh, he does have a 401k, he has planning for retirement. He's caught up on all his bills, and yeah, his car is old, but his car is paid off. That's financially responsible. So you can start viewing that as the baseline for what he considers average and realize, well, that's not bad at all.
Mm-hmm. You could look at it like that, right?
You're the one viewing it as a man, hating on himself right in front of you. When he's like, yeah, I'm pretty average.
But see, it's not me, right? What I'm telling you is what women do, because that's why all women call themselves a 10, no matter what.
But if a man like that comes out and says, oh, I'm the super awesomest guy ever because I drive a car that's 10 years old, but it's paid off. And then man coming out and saying that.
What do women like? Do women like humility or do women like confidence? Because it's again, you can argue it all you want, but I'm just telling you that's what women are. Well, see, that's the problem. Yeah, you can be confident. Here's the thing: you can be confidently below average, and women will choose you because they like confidence, right? They like a man with a plan. They like a man with a passion. They like a man with a passion. They like a man with a plan, right? And they like a man with confidence, and that is part of the issue. Unfortunately, women and men see this point very differently, right? Which is why men cannot stand it when a woman calls herself a 10, and objectively in every possible way we know she's not a 10, right? But that's how women are, right? Women feel like, hey, if you call yourself average, or you call yourself a 5, you're putting yourself down, and you lack confidence, you lack self-esteem, you lack the ability to prosper, but that's how women see it. So it's totally different. Men and women are seeing this point differently. And I think that's why it is that a man calling himself average, a woman's going to say, oh, he doesn't have confidence. He's negating himself, basically. I'm going to look.
Really? Really? Really?
Yep, really. Sad but true.
If a man's sitting down with a woman, that woman says, yeah, I'm a 10 in everything I do. I'm a 10 in my job. I'm a 10 in how I look, blah, blah, blah. The man is seeing nothing but giant red flags just popping up all over the place saying, all right, okay, I'm going to the bathroom. Bye.
I'm agreeing with Wes, but hold on. I appreciate you. Like, introduce DL Saint. Appreciate DL Saint for coming on through. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I had this vision a long time ago, so you might be a perfect candidate. And I'm gonna reach out to Lou this one. I think I collected all the pills. I know one pink. There's actually a pink pill out there. She promotes her content, nothing but pink pills. She promote the Pick Me Nation out there. There's a space out there for pink pills. So I'm gonna see if I can get all of us together on one path. That's literally been my goal for like a year, man. So I actually appreciate you coming through. So I want to give a shout out for everybody coming on through. Don, who's never been here, I never seen him. So shout out to you, Don GQ. Shout out to you, New York, for coming on through. Appreciate you. I had somebody tag. We have a new person came in. Apex always been here, so appreciate you, Apex. He had an empty bag of I guess it was popcorn. So shout out to you. Mary Bell, appreciate you. I hope you are a new subscriber. So the baby goal is 2K, but we prefer that everybody engage in the conversation because it helps us a lot too. So we can have different perspectives going around. Definitely New York, appreciate you because usually she being true a little shout out and then she dips, but she always hit the like button. So I appreciate New York for chiming on and engaging the conversation. So appreciate you, New York. Did we miss anything? Because everybody was pretty much reacting. So wants to be honest. So Apex says, so she wants an honest man, but if he, I guess, violates, which looks bloviates, which looks confidence. So if you want to respond to that, but and we'll let DL get a word in. And I think Inky disconnected, so Inky will be back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll say this. Yes. Again, this is why there's all kinds of people online selling people game, right? Because the unfortunate thing is, right, that the great husband material man is not necessarily able to deliver that message that he's a great husband material man.
I would never hear New York.
Wouldn't that be a woman's inability to interpret that though?
It's vice versa, and this is a problem, right? Human beings are not great at mind reading, right? So literally, you need to put out the right cues and the right signals to let those opposite sex know that you are the kind of thing that they're looking for, right? So it's likewise.
How does a man really communicate out there that he's really good husband material?
Confidence. So first of all, a man who is confident, right? Who seems confident not in just his ability to take care of things, right? Take care of himself, to manage you and your expectations, right? But also feels confident, like as far as like, I got this, girl. Don't worry. When you're with me, you're taken care of. I got you, right? That's a huge thing for women.
That's like cocky though. I never said that to a chick. Like, hey, girl, I got you. I'm going to take care of the tire. Don't worry about girl. I'm going to take out the trash. I'm not doing that. I just go do it.
I don't think you should, especially with all of the anime kind of things at the end. Definitely not. But the thing is that, again, right, it doesn't matter like how much you want to criticize it. It comes down to that's what women like. Right. And just like men don't tend to like a woman who gives off that energy that says, don't worry, babe, you sit down. I've got this. I'll handle the tire. You sit down inside the car. I have you, right? Like men tend to not want that energy from women, right? So men and women want different things from each other. And you have to, as a woman, if you want a man who's going to take care of stuff, you can't be putting out aggressive, energy, right? Just like you can't put out like the whole overly flirty with too many types of dudes. You can't put out that kind of energy and then think that guy is supposed to want to do what? To take care of you and to put his own ass on the line to take care of you, right? No, there has to be
that's a red flag.
But see, that's what I'm saying, right? And so she might be the greatest, most loyal woman in the world. She might even be a virgin. But the point is that he's not a mind reader. All he can do is go by the signal she's putting out there. right? And men and women are looking for different things, and we read in each other's behavior different signals that make us go, yes, good candidate, or no, terrible candidate. That's just
Okay.
what it is.
Well, what's your thoughts on this, Dia? Why women be thinking average men is like that's the a red flag and negatives?
All right, so shout out to everybody here. Brother West, Sister Ruby, Sister Inky, what's up? I see you. And of course, the God himself, Grey Pill. What's up, man? Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Yeah, Grey Pill likes to bring me on as the resident red pill dude. I don't know. I mean, he put me in a red pill space, man. Like I'm stuck over here.
You claimed it, sir. Now, yeah, well, that'll be a whole nother debate.
You can rebrand yourself as a chocolate pill.
Nah. I'm RP. If I'm gonna claim something, I'm gonna go ahead and claim it. Like RP right here, cuz you know what I mean. But here's the thing. Now I'm saying that jokingly. I'm not a gangbanger. I don't gang bang. So here's the thing. In the red pill space in the manosphere, we hear these things, right? And Sister Ruby is right. Like men and women are fundamentally different, right? Everybody wants the best that they can get. Men, women, and everything in between, right? Everyone wants the best. I have never gone out looking for a mediocre car. If I can't get the best of whatever I'm looking at, I want the best of whatever I can afford, right? So people always want the best. Now, there are a lot of guys out here in the manosphere, like the black pill world and all this, the MGTOW guys, they just don't like playing the game. Most of the guys in the red pill space in the manosphere, they don't understand the game. You feel me? They out here playing checkers, and these women are out here playing, 3D chess, right? So, these guys don't understand what's going on. It is a shame that you have to have this understanding, this game, to be successful. But yes, when women tell me, like, first of all, I'm an old dude. I'm in my 50s. I've never in my life asked a woman her body count. I've never asked a woman to rate herself. A lot of people are doing these days. Thank you, YouTube, right? Thank you, internets. It's like ridiculous stuff. So right there tells you people they don't really know how to communicate. But if you ask a woman to rate herself, she's going to say 10, right? Everyone said, well, the woman's always going to say 10. And again, like Brother West was saying, red flags. Like, come on now. Americans need to understand and accept that the average American is a brokey. The average American is average. You feel me? Like, if you're making $100,000 a year or more, that only puts you in the top 15%. Right? But that's the top 15%. So the vast majority of Americans are below that threshold. You look at households. So guys understand where they are. And if a man comes up and says, yeah, I'm average, I might be a little bit above average, he's not negging himself. He's just logic. I'm telling you, I make 60 grand a year. That puts me here. You know what I mean? I make 80 grand a year. That puts me here. I'm short. That puts me here. I'm overweight. I'm this, I'm that. Men look at that, but women, you got, women like Lizzo running around. Shout out to fat shaming Lizzo. I see you, baby. You got women like Lizzo running around, right? And she's talking about she's a 10. In what universe is Lizzo a 10? You see what I mean?
Screwed up one, huh?
Oh my God. I mean, don't get it twisted. There's some players out there that will run through Lizzo. Just like these, there's a lot of women out there who
so does that come back to what Ruby said then? So if she got that confidence and she thinks she's a 10 and guys is going to check her, so don't that confirms her delusion that she is a 10?
But here's the thing.
If I say I'm a 10 all day in every category, then I got the confidence, then I roll up with somebody, but Inky or somebody else might say, well, I don't see it. But guess what? That's just Inky. Then there's other fish in sea that one woman might come in and think that I'm a 10. So
but
does that
then
mean
it
I'm
goes,
still 10?
Well, I mean, it goes to, okay, what's your mission? What you trying to do? Any woman with, that's willing to give up sex is going to be successful. If a woman's mission is to have sex, and then she wants to tell herself, well, because I can get so much, sexual attention from men, I can get so many different, bodies, then I'm a 10. If she wants to say that, fine. But let's see her lock someone down. And it's the same thing with these dudes, these bottom dweller dudes, like these, the bottom 80 cats. Simply because they could use their wallet and go to the Philippines or go to Colombia and get themselves a dime. All right, well, let me think, are you a top tier guy? You know what I mean? And the answer is almost always no. Because when your money runs out, she's gone. I know a lot of short dudes from the hood with no money that has nothing but dimes, and that's a top tier guy in my book because it's not about the money. He understands the game. There's something that women want. They find him attractive. Multiple women are chasing him. And I'm like, you know what? That's a top tier dude. But that guy will say, yeah, I'm average. He would say he's average. He's like, I'm not making, I'm not driving around in a Bugatti. Shout out to the tapes. You know what I mean? He ain't doing all that kind of stuff. He's like, I'm just an average dude working at the factory, or I'm living at mom's house. He'll tell you. So there's, when I hear that sort of thing, I'm like, look, there's so many guys and so many girls out there who truly don't understand the game. No one wants to go, I'm a 5, so let me get a 5. Right? If you got all these women like I'm a 10, so what happens? They all shoot for the top tier dudes. Those top tier dudes are just running through them, hence the 80-20 rule and all that kind of stuff. So it's really bad for our society. But the red pill world, at least these guys look at it and I'm like, well, at least I see it. Those guys who truly accept it, at least I see it. So let me go ahead and get some game. Like Sister Ruby was saying, let me go out here and get my body right. Let me get my money right. Let me stop leading with my wallet. Like the guy, because the reason I wanted to watch this show, man, because I saw the thumbnail. I've been waiting for somebody to talk about that dude. That dude, man, did I miss it? Okay, I was about to say,
we haven't gotten to it yet. I've been waiting for that. He sent me the email. He sent me the email. I fired back like, man, this shit's going to be lit.
We got to talk about this, man. And you know what? I would argue that I would say the majority of dudes are like that. They just won't let it out. But
hey, we ain't talking about that now. We want the average man, even though he is the average man. But the average man, why? Because do better. Like it blew his lid about when he's reacting to the 61-year-old woman that want the guy with the 100K, and he's like, "Yo, what's wrong with the average man? What is wrong with the average man? Even if he says it or not, what's wrong with the average man?" Now, when you gave the 70, 80, I'm telling you 30, 40, 50K. That's what the average man earns. That's what the average man, how he moves. He's not moving as broke. Most people are like, hey, I mean, you had a discussion about the penny pension. I'm cheap. That's just me. I know how to save $1. I know how to go where the bargain is. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? Do I run around have a can of coupons? No, I don't. But I'm going to go where my money is right. I'm not even going to, for example, if I'm doing 60K a year, I'm not moving to California. That doesn't make any sense for me. Yeah. I got to be somewhere where I'm either comfortable or where I know, hey, the longevity. We're not living forever. We're not.
I am.
All right, shout out to you. That's your pronoun too.
Building. We got immortals up in this joint.
I didn't know that, but yeah, but that's how I see it. So it's like I understand where Do Better coming from, because I feel like most women, not all, most women that's in the 70, 80 to 100K bracket, a lot of them, not all again, because I do know some from high school that make 100K, but they're like, yo, I'll date a dude that makes less. I'll date a dude that's like in another neighborhood. But you can't, those other type of women can't be like, okay, well, because I make 100K, that guy got to be on his level too. Okay, well, if you come across him, he's attractive, then you get to know him, he's fit, he's checking all the boxes. Okay, so what's wrong with continuing a relationship with this guy? It's like the Uno reverse.
No, because it's the same thing. It's a thing that I was talking about before, right? Women want to feel like they're with a man who's got them, who's going to take care of things, right?
Yeah, but got him in what way though?
But in the ways that she needs him to lead, or to have the power, the control, the dominance. So we're not in the wild where you have to fight off lions and tigers and bears, right? So normally that involves you've got the check. So if you guys go out on a date, right, and now the bill comes, you ain't gonna be looking at her like, you got this, babe, just because she makes more money than you or whatever, right? Because you don't make enough money, you don't got a job, you don't. Women want to know that you're gonna take care of them, or like if she happens to hit
then she need to have that conversation,
right? But that's not the point, right? The point is not what we're gonna do now that we're in a relationship, right? We're talking about why do women have an issue with this idea? These women who are higher earners, shall we say, right? The higher earner women, they start saying stuff like, well, he's got to make as much money as me or more, right? Because otherwise what ends up happening, often it does happen, you either get men who feel kind of emasculated by the dynamic that she could afford so much more and she can afford a life that kind of he can't afford, or a lot more often is that because she is accustomed to this lifestyle where she wants these better things, she ends up paying for more and more and more things until the point where basically that's her role. Her role is the provider. And so now you kind of swap things on their heads, because men, if they're not kind of in the protector provider role, they don't really thrive in the nurturer role, right? And women don't really thrive in the protector provider role. So, I mean, in general, right? So in general, now things are off. So you'll hear women say these things like, oh, I want this, I want this. No, they're just really talking about their internal fear of, I want a man who's the head of the household. I want a man who's going to take care of stuff, who's going to make me feel safe and protected, and who's got this and who can handle things, right? And will manage this. I want that kind of man. And they feel like the only way they're going to get it is by having a man who makes as much money than them or more. That's what they feel like. That's why they say it.
Hold on, Inky, your thoughts? Inky, you there?
Now you got to run it through the house, probably stuff falling down like trash. There she is.
I'm back.
You're fine.
So I will say this. Okay, so there was a really good friend of mine who was a multimillionaire, and he had a hard time getting women that were serious. So I said, well, why don't you go to church and just be that average guy? Because the women that would cling to him would be the ones that were just there for money. And he was a softie, so he would just hand it out like it was candy. And he thought that it would be able to buy his love, and it didn't work. And so he did. He took my advice and he started going to church, and he met this woman who thought he was just an average guy. And guess what? She's very well off. But she took him for face value and for his heart. So when a guy says, hey, I'm average, ladies, don't judge right away, because, he could be just trying to not be used, because men can be used. Women can be used, and so can men. So from that experience with this specific gentleman, he was able to find a woman that was like really true to his heart and not just after his money.
Yeah, and that's game 101. Discovery trumps disclosure 100% of the time.
So
I agree.
I think today's society, people have become a lot more shallow than they used to be.
I mean, I think it's accepted because of social media. I mean, you look at the you look at technology and the impact it's had on, especially America and most of the the free world, the Western world. I mean, the average guy does not want to be a player. Yeah, I heard it here first. I say it on my platform all the time. I'm saying it here now. The average dude doesn't want to spin plates. The average dude, he wants one woman that he could love and respect, and she loves and respects him. The problem is people want the best, people want experiences. So this good guy, right? Because y'all ain't got to say it out loud, but good guys finish, right? Everyone knows that. So if you want to be successful, right, in this world, but I'm just saying, everyone knows, I didn't make that up. That's been around forever, right? That's not a red pill thing. That's been around forever, right? So if you want to go out there and you want to be successful in this dating world, you're going to have to, at a minimum, pretend to be a certain type of dude. You're going to have to get out of your shell. And, because people think, well, you're being someone else, she's not going to love you. I'm like, nah, bro. In order for you to get her attention, you're going to have to be gamed up enough to where she can at least see you. And then that's when that whole discovery comes in, as opposed to disclosure. I never tell a woman I got this, I got that. I'm the man here and there. We just go out. And if we're in LA or New York or Miami and we go someplace and people know me and they come up and they talk to me, she'll be like, what? Who are you? Why are all these people coming up to you? Why is it we haven't had to pay for nothing all night? Why is it you're getting bottles here and you're getting bottles there and this and that? That's all part of the game, isn't it? So these dudes run out and they start bragging. Well, I'm the man. I could just watch this baby girl and this and that. And it's like, nah, man, it's different strokes for different folks. But it's a shame that the average dude has to at least put on that wolf outfit to try to in order to get the woman's attention. Now, once he gets her attention and she gets to know him, maybe something will turn up. Who knows? But I think it's a shame.
But have you ever seen the show Millionaire Matchmaker? There's like 8 seasons of it. And I think that it's a really good illustration, actually, that some of the ideas we have, like this idea that, like, I don't know, if women know you have multi-millions, that's it. They're all going to flock to you and then want to be with you. Like, no. There's a few gold diggers who are like literally at that level where they will tolerate you as long as you keep paying them, right? But the majority of women are not like that.
But Sister Ruby, could I jump in real quick at that point?
Mhm.
I agree with you, but like I said, the average man has to act as if he's a wolf. I would argue that the average woman is out there wanting these experiences, so she's acting like maybe on some level a gold digger. Am I wrong in thinking that?
I disagree with you. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I mean, I disagree, right? And actually, the
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, see, I'm not the one who's here to debunk everyone and tell everyone else that they're wrong. I'll tell you I disagree. And like the example I'm going to give with Millionaire Matchmaker kind of illustrates that point, because if you were right, then these millionaires, right? First of all of them would have the same type of behavior and the same type of attitude, and that behavior and attitude would get them these women. These women would be falling all over themselves to get with these guys, and once they finally got chosen, they would never turn these guys down for a second date. They would never not kiss the guy on the first date. They would never, but they do all the time. And so part of the matchmaker's job is not just to find women that the guys are choosing, but it's to help train these guys to have a better attitude, to have a more approachable persona, to not be so judgmental, to not be so critical, to not be leading with their wallet, to not be leading with assholishness, and so on and so forth, right? Because a lot of people think they have to put on this air of arrogance and bravado, and you can see it in the nouveau riche, especially. There's this attitude they think comes with being wealthy and powerful that women hate. They think it's disgusting and they want no part of it, right? Actually, a guy who's confident, but he's genuine, he's affable, he's funny, but he's powerful and he commands respect. He commands, not demands. Commands respect, commands attention, commands power, right? That is attractive to women. And that's what, it doesn't matter what your wallet size or bank account size is. That's something that you get internally from you developing internally. And that women find super attractive. And that's why, whether it's a broke Pookie or broke Ray Ray, right? Or a multimillionaire, whatever, it's a particular type of attitude that a man has that he's the one who's begging all the ladies. It doesn't matter what his pocketbook is saying, right? It matters about that attitude and that confidence, because that's what draws women in. But you can't be an asshole and it can't be fake, because women get turned off by that also.
So he pretend to be average, then pretend to be a wolf?
We're all pretending to do things. Confidence is something that women can just tell if you're confident or not, right? Like, and women can tell if you're putting on an air, because it comes off, your confidence starts looking like, again, arrogance. Women hate arrogance, and men have a hard time telling the difference between arrogance and confidence, but women don't. Women hate arrogant men.
Sister Ruby, I would argue that, because I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. My only pushback would be this: we're not discussing the mission, and that's one of the things, like you talk about, like coaching and stuff like that. There's a lot of guys out there looking for answers, right? They'll take it in whatever form they can get it, coaching, books, whatever. But I always ask, the first thing I ask dudes, like, okay, what's your mission? Most guys don't know. Like, if you out here, you just looking to smash women. All right, I can give you a couple lines to say. And if Sony Pictures wants to make a reality show like that Millionaire Next Door, whatever the hell that show is called, if I give some dude with zero confidence, who's short, kind of overweight, and has zero game, a black card, unlimited funds for the weekend, and his mission is just to have sex with beautiful women, guess what? He'll be successful.
That'll be easy.
He'll be successful, right? Knock it out the park every single time. And some of those women will actually fall for him. Now, are they falling for him, or are they falling for that unlimited funds?
I was gonna say,
seriously,
they're falling for the paper.
They'll fall for the funds, and as long as the funds are there, they'll continue coming back for more. They're not falling for the person. In fact, most of the time, they'll hate the person, but it's not about the person. It's about the dollar bills, right? And they're good. They will tolerate you for as long as you can afford them. So if that's what you want, then just pay for somebody. But if you want a woman who actually likes you, who actually wants to be around you, regardless of the money, for example, right? Then you leading with your wallet doesn't work, right? And also you sitting there and negging yourself is not going to work, right? Because she needs to be attracted to you for something other than your ability to pay for things. Right, so that means you have to have
changes.
Other things that women.
Yeah, like you said, so the mission. If your mission is to find a wife or a long-time spouse, I tell people I don't back marriage in America is for a whole bunch of reasons. That's probably another conversation for another day. But if your goal is your mission is to find a lifelong partner, well, we're gonna have to do it a little different, right? We're gonna have to show you some skills to get you to a point where she at least sees you. Let's keep it 100. The average women, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but this is Manosphere talking points, and I agree with this one. Women don't even see the average guy. They just completely, 80% of men are virtually invisible to most women. Would you guys, Sister Inky, Sister Ruby, would you guys agree with that?
I would disagree personally. I think when
Why
they
you
say
keep
that, they're
disagreeing with
talking
me,
about a
woman?
particular type of women. So
Why
the
you keep
Miami,
disagreeing with me, woman?
because I disagree.
She's a
I
woman.
think that, for example, the kind of Miami chick that Fresh and Fit have on their podcast, I would say, yeah, those types of women maybe don't see 80% of the average guys, right? But I would say that those women are not representative of most women. And so when we're going to most women, then I don't think that applies at all. It certainly doesn't apply to me or like anyone I know. But like, I'm not just saying it just from that. I'm saying that I think that it's a very particular demographic of woman who that can apply to. And it's true. It's true for that particular demographic of women, but
Inky,
that's not even close to most.
Does that same question for you, Inky, that DL asked, does it apply to you?
Can you ask it again, please?
The premise is that most women do not see or even acknowledge the majority of men. So 80% of men or so are invisible to like most women. Would you agree with that statement?
I would have to disagree with that statement. Okay, let me think about how I want to answer this.
I'm getting tired of you women folk disagreeing with me.
So for instance, I have to agree and I have to disagree. I walk around with blinders on. So say I'm with a gentleman and we're friends and he'll be like, oh my God, this dude's looking at you. That I'm like, what? Because I walk around with blinders on. I think a lot of women probably would notice something like that. So I have to agree with a lot of different aspects here. So as far as Ruby says, a lot of men that are very wealthy can be very arrogant. I know quite a few of them, and there's probably maybe a handful that is just genuinely like extremely nice. And then there's those that are just really, really arrogant, very crude. You go out to dinner with them and you're hanging out and they're just like, oh, how would you even explain that? Okay, I'll give you a little story. I'll try to make it really short. So we're out at this restaurant and there's me and quite a few people. And he puts $1,000 in cash on the center of the table and said, this is your tip. Every time you mess up, I'm taking $100 back. Like that kind of arrogant. And so, and he was funny, but he was like annoying. Like I could not, I wouldn't be someone that could like really get into his personality type, but he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He inherited a lot of money and then he made very, very profitable businesses from it. And so he just kept excelling. I watched him jump through a rag top of a brand new BMW and he's like, oh, it's okay. I'll just replace it.
Hey, Sister Inky, you need to bring him around me. You can't see what I'm doing right now, but you need to bring him, this guy right now.
We need to add you a little wig. I don't need
a wig. I won't even, with this dude, I won't even need a mask. Keep it 100. But that, that was another world. We ain't gonna talk about that.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead, Inky, let you finish.
And so there's others that are like genuinely nice. And it's so I have to agree and I have to disagree. It depends on the type of women that you're speaking of. There is some women that will just be with someone because they love them and they like their heart or they're attracted to them. And then there's a lot of other women that are like, no, you need to show me that you have money and you need to be able to take care of me.
Oh, man, I just can't. You know what? Honestly, ladies,
I can't be like that because I was always the primary income.
All right.
So,
That being said,
I built this place. Down here, I make the rules.
I would love to challenge all the ladies, not just you two on the panel, but every lady here in the chat. Start to pay attention. Start to pay attention to how many men you actually overlook on the daily?
Well, I'm married, so I overlook all of them except my husband. But I'm going back to when I was on this, right? But I'm going back to including choosing my husband, right? But then, long-term relationships I had chosen and the way that I saw things, the way my girlfriends who are also all married, the way that they saw men and how they chose their men. So I'm not just like, just being like, oh, well, maybe I'm just frivolously not paying attention. Like, no, actually, it's been a thing because, like, to me, that guy, the it guy, the guy who's the most popular guy and whatever, to me, he's always looked gross. Like, when I see him, he looks oily and kind of greasy and dirty to me. Like, I feel like he might give me a disease if I stand too close to him. I was never that girl. I like the quiet guy over there in the corner who's not paying attention to any of the ruckus over here, does not care at all if he has anyone's attention, and he's really not trying to impress nobody. That was the one I'd be fascinated with, always, right? Like my whole entire, like from the time I started liking boys in middle school, right? So
did you marry a Canadian?
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm just asking.
You try to get that data and statistics up, right?
Did you marry a Canadian?
I married. Why? No, because you're trying to say something about Canadian men, and I know you, so I refuse to answer this question until I know the answer.
Where's he from?
Where's
he from?
Wes ain't from Canada. I ain't hear him say A. You guys say A few times. You want to convince me, or be really good at curling. If he's really good at curling, show me some pictures. Then I'll be like, all right, he's Canadian.
Hey,
I'm Canadian. I'm Canadian.
Hey, we got because I didn't want to milk this out for like 2 hours, but we got 2 more segment questions and conversation with. So again, final thoughts for the average guy / woman. Because again, I do better. Excuse me, my bad, bro. I do better podcasts, ask specific questions. We kind of broke down a lot of it. I hope this be helpful for you do better on some of this. And low key, I'm trying to hope that he actually react to it. So hint, wink, wink, but it's all good. But he did ask a specific question. He said, why do women take the word average as a slur term? So we'll give final thoughts for that. We'll move on to the next one. So Ruby, we're going around the clock. Ruby, Wes, Inky, DL, and we'll start the next. So why do women think they're average? Final thoughts on that one.
Okay, well, I'll say that women or people in general will take the term average as a slur if it's being used as a slur. If it's being used as a put down or a way to put you in your place, smack you down a few pegs, whatever, then you're using it as a slur. So of course it's being taken as a slur. I do think the overreaction going all the way to I'm a 10, no one can tell me any different is also ridiculous. Right. But I think what we need to do is, I don't know, maybe stop doing any of this altogether and just recognize kind of like reality for what it is. And stop trying to over stereotype and over generalize human beings who are not monoliths at all. And instead just recognize that, like, hey, whoever you are and whatever you're about, there are women out there or men out there for you. Right. The more that you keep trying to focus on you're not average or I'm too average or whatever is the more that you get stuck in like this loop. And then you end up just alone and miserable and bitter. And then I understand why you're online bitter and hating people in comment sections, because like you refuse to just be like, hey, you know what? It's okay. There's unique and special things about all of us, including you. And why don't you just focus on ways that you're a little bit different than everyone else, and then try to find people with a like mind and then join up with those people. So that's the way I see that. Like who likes you. I'm good.
All right, Wes.
I don't think average is a slur. There's nothing wrong with it. I like to consider myself mostly average. I'm okay with women that are mostly average. I just don't see how if somebody views it as a slur, if a woman looks at a man and says, oh, that's just average and thinks lowly, well, that's a problem with her, not with him.
Oh, fair enough. Inky?
I don't think of it as a slur either.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Okay, cool. I like her. Short and sweet. DL.
I see what you said there. Okay.
Yeah. I would say this. First of all, I heard Sister Ruby say belt, so I'm like, she's Canadian. I heard it. So, yes. But I would I would say this. If we accept that the average dating strategy for women is to get the best, if we accept that, then we must also accept that she's not going to see any men out there who are below, let's say, a 7. If we accept that she wants the absolute best, then we must accept that she does not even acknowledge the average to below average guys. I mean, and that's just my take on it.
All right.
A 7
Fair
in which
enough.
factor?
Well, I mean, I just threw that number out there because normally on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, I gave it 7, but really it would be more like 8, 9s, and 10s are really all they're looking at. But I just threw 7 in there trying to be nice because this is Grey Pill. You know, I ain't on my
like in
platform.
what? Like, do you mean a 7 in looks,
He
a
is
7 in
ready. No,
earning,
she-
a
it is
7
what it
in
is for this month.
character, a 7 in what? Because
Look
I think
here, Canada, you're gonna have to come over to my my platform. We're gonna have
Yeah,
it's gonna take 5
she'll
hours.
make it. Yo, she'll make a whole conversation on a question, yo.
We're gonna get our final thoughts, girl. You see, listen, Wes, what's up with you Canadians, man? What's going on? What's going
Wes
on with
is
you
not
Canadians, A?
He offended you, Wes. That's
What?
sacrilege right there.
You called me a
called you-
Canadian?
Yeah, he called you
I thought you was
Canadian.
My bad, fam. My bad, fam. If you ain't Canadian, my bad. I didn't mean to throw that punch.
You better get tossed out of plane without a chute. Airborne.
Hey, listen, hey, airborne all the way, bro. I do, yeah. My bad, bro. My bad, player.
Yo, that just made Ruby's night. I love it.
it really did. Thank you so much.
So,
Oh,
Ruby,
man.
did you marry a Canadian?
Again, as
she's-
soon as you tell me why you're asking.
You'll
That
find out
part.
when you answer.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
Probably married a Jamaican. You made a Jamaican, didn't you? She was down there like,
I know.
hey,
I
man.
just need her to admit it to everyone.
All right, so here's the second segment. A young lady by the name of B. Taylor. She had an encounter with Chloe Things on, I believe it was Letitia at work, or a conversation. She said that, what was the topic? The topic was, I believe that having a roster is okay in the beauty market. So she came back to a part 2, standing on her square. So shout out to her for standing on what she said. Currently, she had some comments about it. So here we go.
Because this is where the controversy came from, where I said women should date multiple men, and everyone flipped out and it went viral. Basically, I got attacked, I got bullied. This is where Pearl beat my ass, like she schooled me about dating. So I'm ready for the smoke. I'm ready for the smoke. I'm ready for men to prove to me and us other ladies who agree that women should date multiple suitors. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. As many of you guys know, I think if I put myself on mute, so I'm going to start it from here. So I've been in both situations. When I started dating, I would date one at a time, and I realized that didn't work for me personally because I get attached and I wear my heart on my sleeve. So I would get very upset if the guy didn't take me serious, or I found out he was talking to somebody else and I wasn't. I would feel some type of way. So to protect myself, I tell other women that are like me, I say it's okay to date other men. Now, you're going to have a roster. I think it's safe to have a roster. You always going to have your favorite, you know, and that's the one that you give the most attention to and take serious, while the other ones, you kind of got them on standby, kind of texting them from time to time, especially when you're like by yourself and he tripping a little bit or something. You text your other roster of men, you know, to kind of keep you distracted. And, you know, let the best man win, because when your favorite team player is not playing right, you kick him to the curb and upgrade somebody else.
I like you, girl. I like you. You too.
But if men look for loyalty, why would he take you serious if you have a whole
If he's
roster
looking for
of
loyalty,
people?
then he would commit to me. But I'm not
Not right.
committing to anybody
Well,
that
it's
I'm
kind of like
dating.
you have to show him what he's gonna get.
But what's
So it's like if he's getting
this
this already, if he's already getting like disloyalty before he's even in a relationship.
Disloyalty? I don't owe no loyalty to no man I'm dating.
You're right. You don't owe it. It's not
Right.
like,
And
he's
he
not
don't owe me loyalty.
He's not entitled to it, but I think he's more likely to give it to you if you're
No,
if you're loyal
I'm
to
telling
it.
you, I've been in both situations, and that sounds nice. I wish that was the case, but I've been in both situations, and I got played every time, and it hurt my feelings dearly. Because, and then when I told him that's not fair, you're talking to, he's like, we're not together. He'll hit me with that, we're not together. So until a man commits to me and show me that he wants to take me serious and showing me consistency.
Hmm.
The dating world is
The
piss
streets.
poor. Dating world is piss poor out there, and it's a lot out there. So you're gonna run across really messed up people that's have bad agendas. They're trying to use you, they're trying to play games with you, they may have you on their roster. You don't know what you're getting until that man takes you serious and start being consistent. Then you slowly start kind of taking him serious until that man say, hey, I want to take things to the next level. You're not just somebody I'm dating anymore. I exclusively want to court you. Then that's when you, as a woman, then that's when you say, okay, I'm going to exclusively date him and take him serious until he tells me he's committed to me. It's a lot of women out here committed to men who's not committed to them. And I don't know what your situation is and how your dating world is, but I'm telling you, I've been on both. Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and say that if men are out here having rosters, if we lived in a perfect world, right? Of course, like that's not fair that men are not dating multiple women and busting down other women and then expecting this one girl who you haven't given your all to or committed to be straight up loyal and waste her time. Like, let's be honest, a lot of men out here are wasting a lot of women's time because they're not being honest about what their intentions are with that woman. So while she's wasting her time waiting around for him to commit to her, he's dating other women. So in a perfect world, sure. But like in reality, the reality is men are talking to multiple women. And Jay Prince even said it's a double standard. Okay, so if we're going to go with that, it's a double standard, then that means that it's a double standard that women can date multiple suitors without sleeping with any of them as well. Can you?
All right, so that's our take on women being in the roster. Do we agree or disagree on her stance on that? And do we also believe that it's a double standards? Hold on, shout out to the Sophisticated Jerk. Appreciate you coming on in. If you're new to the definitely hit the subscribe button. If you're coming on through, please hit the like button. It helps out us a lot. Shout out to Daryl Long with the eyeballs faces. So he hit the chat, so I appreciate you. And yes, Sophisticated Jerk. That is Jay Prince at the bottom right that had a wig on for the first duration of the show.
I had an argument with that guy once. Not an argument, but I was on the Lapeef network for an hour trying to everybody was trying to figure out what he was saying, but I can tell you that story later. I want to respond to the chick we're looking at there.
Okay,
Jay Prince was looking like he was looking like
did have a wig
enough.
on. I try to crop that part out. Yeah.
Jay Prince is something else.
He is.
All right. So is her statement valid overall, or is she just speaking in general?
About that
women?
She's trying to say that it's okay to be doing that.
Yeah, she felt like in her world. Yeah, she felt in her world it's okay to do that, and she gave justification for it.
So I want to give an explanation, and Ruby's going to agree with me.
Am I now?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
First of all, the victim and the victimizer is the same problem, because she stated that it had happened to her and she was hurt by it. So she decided she was going to do it as well. She has justified it to herself and saying, well, this is just the normal way to do things. This is the right way to do things. And I disagree with this as a functional process to be dating multiple people at the same time, especially with women. This is where women came up with the concept of friend zone. Okay. I've renamed the friend zone. It's not a friend zone. It's a fan club. Whenever you see a woman post a picture on social media and there's like 200 dudes liking it saying, oh my goodness, you're gorgeous. She likes the attention. It's a fan club. Anytime she says, I like to stay friends with my ex. No. It's a fan club. And the way that she was talking about it, she's talking about exactly the way that I've seen it used. Where she's like, oh, well, this guy on my roster, I mean, he's not able to get here tonight, so I'll just go down the roster, pick someone else. So that's her actively abusing men because she feels like that's what men do. But most men are not doing that.
Yeah, but how can women tell that most men are not doing that, though?
How can women tell that most men are not doing that?
Yeah.
Well, they can't because the men they're chasing are doing that. We've already agreed that women go after the best. Most women they're chasing the top 20% or top 15%. Those guys are doing that.
That's right.
And that's their world.
Even the
You
average guy.
disagree with me?
She ain't
I
say
do
the average
disagree.
dude.
I'll explain
Hey,
why.
but she's
I
not
disagree
chasing
with
the
you
average
though.
dude.
Yeah.
How much do you disagree? Like less than 50% or more than 50%?
More than 50%. But
That's
I
a
will
problem with you,
say,
though.
no, it's definitely a problem with you. Well, it's my general problem with you, no, but no, for real. My thing is, okay, so when people are using roster or rotation, right, and they're reading it as in, hi, I have these 5 guys on rotation, I'm sleeping with all of them, right, and when one's unavailable, then I just sleep with the next one, kind of thing. That I do think is dysfunctional, but that's not what B. Taylor said. In fact, she said it was near the end where she said we can date multiple people without sleeping with them. So then we go to the concept of what is dating, right? Let's go back to courting. When women were courted, right? So that's what it was. You're trying to find a suitor. You're trying to find someone to marry, a woman or your daughter, whatever, right? There would be multiple people courting her at one time. It wasn't just one person, right? And so, the more desirable she is, the more suitors she would have, and they would all be trying to court her, right? And then at some point, some people would get it would get whittled down. The list would become more and more whittled down until there was just a couple or a few, right? And then ultimately, the 2 or 3 that were remaining would go and speak to the father or whatever and try to ask for her hand in marriage. And the one who got the, yeah, you can ask, is the one who then got to ask, right? But the point is, right, is that now we don't do the courting suiting thing. Instead, what we do is we do dating, right? Dating is a time where you're getting to know someone and you're deciding, do I want to be in a committed monogamous relationship with this person, right? Well, how are you supposed to, from date 1, you're supposed to be in a committed monogamous relationship with someone? That would be insane. If a woman demanded that just because a man asked her out one time, that now he's in a committed monogamous relationship, men would think she's crazy, right? So why is it that we can't see it from the opposite direction? When you're dating is a period of time of, I don't know you, you don't know me, we don't owe each other anything, but we want to get to know each other. We want to see if maybe there's some potential here, right? And so however you want to handle your dating period, this is how I handle mine. I will date people who ask me out on dates. I'm trying to get to know you. I want to see is there something here, right? And some men sleep with a lot of women during that period of time as well, right? Or, some women do. I don't know, right? I know for me, when I was in dating, I don't do all the casual sex thing. For me, no sex until we are in a monogamous committed relationship. The I loves you've been said, we've gone to the clinic together. That's me. That's not everyone. But I will say that the idea that women shouldn't be dating multiple people, now that she's single, she's on the market again, whatever, that's what you're supposed to do, because you shouldn't be hung up on one person right away. You shouldn't be sitting there and putting all your eggs in this one basket because you went on one date. That's crazy. And if she would just start talking to that guy like she's monogamous and committed, he would think she's crazy, right? So the way that you don't do that is by keeping your options open until y'all have the I want to be with you discussion. I want to be committed monogamous. I don't want to see other people. Do you want to see other people? No, let's stop seeing other people. Right. And then from there, then you go, hey, I want boyfriend, girlfriend. And then from there, there are different levels to it. But at the beginning, when you're talking about dating, yeah, no, not to hurt other people, not to prevent yourself from being hurt, but because you don't know anyone yet. That's why you're dating. You're dating to figure out if you're going to get to another level with someone. And you don't shut down all the other options until then. Right.
That's not how she was using that, though. Because she stated that if one guy's messing up, she just moves to the next guy. Like she's actively using these men.
Well, yeah, because she's damaged, right? And she also feels like she has to justify it because she feels like she's going to get called a slut or a whore or this or that. So she feels like she has to justify it. She's got to come with the game. She's got to come strong. She's got to come be like, well, yeah, but men ain't shit anyway. Because a lot of women feel like they have to add that into every explanation. But the truth of the concept of dating multiple people, not sleeping with multiple people, but dating multiple people until you guys have developed, a relationship somewhere, and then you guys both stop seeing other people. That's a normal thing. That's what dating is. So,
fair enough.
I kind of just weed them out fast and move on.
Right. I have to agree with Wes on this one. I also think it's a verbiage issue. Dating is you're dating one person and hanging out, which is new terminology. We're just hanging out. That you can hang out with whoever you want, I guess. Dating is you're so if I'm dating somebody, that means that we're more exclusive. And then again, I'm with Ruby on this one because I won't sleep with somebody unless I think they're marriage material, and I want to be committed to that person because there's gifts that keep on giving that you can't get rid of. There is, honestly. Like, so you got to be careful about who you're hanging out with. So, I mean,
sometimes those gifts are on fire.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Hopefully, never mind. So, okay, let me get serious again. Okay. So I think it's a verbiage issue. She said that it was okay for her to date multiple guys. I don't agree with that. That's like having a bunch of side dudes. Do these guys know about each other? Like, is she telling this guy over here, guy one, that she's dating guy two, and if guy two's busy, she's dating guy three? Like, do they all know about each other? I mean,
Yeah.
there's room for her not to tell somebody, and then someone's going to get their feelers hurt.
Yeah, that's my thing, because I'm a big advocate on and you correct. I think this is what you're saying. It goes back to intent. Like, what is your intent? If you're saying my intent is to be friends with multiple guys, all the guys you don't, they are friends. They could still be in competition with each other without knowing. You know, me, Wes, and DL could be dating you, Inky, but we don't know each other. But if you let all of us know, like, hey, I know that you're attracted to me. I know you want to go out and date, you know, and be exclusive, but I feel like you as friends. And just to be honest, hey, I'm hanging out with other guys. Now we could take that as whatever on that point, but we know how to move accordingly. You know, it was three. What I was going to say here, it was either when you're dating in intent, should it be being honest up front? Are you dating for the roster of sex? Are you dating for the roster for attention? Or are you dating for the roster for marriage? Like, I think that should be the issue right there. How do you move accordingly? Like, from that point on.
But okay, wait, hold on. I want to ask Inky a question and I do agree with you, because I feel like you're, defining dating differently than I do. So I want to be clear, like taking away the labels for a second, right? Because you said dating, to you, there's an element of exclusivity built into the word dating, right? So I'm going to take away the labels, right? You just, a guy asks you out on a date, right? And so you guys go on a date. Okay, it was cool. Maybe he says, hey, maybe we'll see each other next week sometime or whatever. I'll text you, right? And then someone else asks you out on a date, right? For, Friday night drinks or whatever, right? Would you go on that date, or would you think that it's wrong? You're doing something wrong at that point.
I wouldn't specify it as dating. I would say we're hanging out.
I know.
I would tell him, just so you know, like, we're just hanging out as friends. I'm not sleeping with you. I am one of them people that, especially, like, kissing is very intimate. So don't try to kiss on me. I'm just that way, though. I can count on one hand, like, how many people I've been with. So I am probably not the one for this topic, because I don't agree. If you're literally just out there to hang out, and I mean, are you buying your own dinner? Are you expecting him to buy you dinner? There's so many elements that would be considered. Like, if he's taking care of your bills and this and that, would you still consider it hanging out or dating, or would you say you're exclusive? I mean,
well, no, but I'm talking about date one, because I think the thing is people are
remember though, we're talking about a roster. So date one with whoever, but then you got other three guys in that roster. So does that date one consider part of the roster?
But see, that's what I'm saying. Because she did say it literally. She said, no one's committed, right? Didn't commit to me. I didn't commit to him. We didn't have a let's be exclusive discussion. We had we're not exclusive at all. We're just getting to know each other discussion, right? And that's where they are. And she would not be in this if she committed to someone, right? And they committed to her. If they had the exclusivity discussion, then that's done. So to me, that would suggest, if you take away the label for a second, that suggests hey, this element before you get to exclusivity, where you want to get to know people to maybe find a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
And that's also where you have that conversation. Say someone does want to take you out on a date. What are you looking in for the long run? Are you wanting to just hang out? And you get that clear from the get-go.
The beginning.
The very beginning. And if I'm not, And if I'm not interested, I will let the person know straight up front. Like I'm not interested in, becoming exclusive at all.
DL,
Because you don't want people to get in their feelings.
Or misunderstand something out of context. But
Yeah.
DL, your thoughts, sir?
All right. So all right. There's been a shock to the dating world, right? Just like how the Fed has raised interest rates, there's been a shock to the system, and the whole, like, all our markets and everything is out of whack. Same thing is happening in the dating marketplace, right? There's been a shock to the system. What's that shock? Women are gamed up in the way that most dudes used to be gamed up. These women are getting gamed up like the top tier guys. So when this young woman was saying, and here's the thing, I'm saying all this I'm not, determining what type of person she is. I'm saying this without malice. I'm just observing. She is running a rotation, just like I used to run rotations when I was back in the day, when I was in, again, I'm in my 50s, but when I was at my peak, when I was running rotations back in the day, that's what she's doing. I wasn't coming over to play patty cake. I was coming over to bust them guts. And she's letting people come over to wreck shop, right? She's getting her back blown out by the guy she wants to have, the guy. Not all of them. She's got a rotation.
She said no. She said she's not sleeping with the guys.
Listen. You got to listen to her very carefully.
I am.
Right. She is saying she started throwing that in there when she started getting a negative pushback. She's saying, I'm not having sex with that. I don't believe that. She could be telling the truth, but I don't
agree with DL.
I don't believe that. She is having sex with someone, right? Why? Because she can.
Because you would?
She can. No. Because she can. She has the access.
So? Just because you can doesn't mean you would. Have you seen Nikki? That woman's gorgeous. But just because she could sleep with a bunch of people doesn't mean she did. Just because I could have slept with a bunch of people doesn't mean I did.
I don't want to be in that mix.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'll take Inky back up. But because I'm the same way though, right? Is that the amount of people I've slept with, that's in the single digits. The amount of people I've kissed is pretty close to single digits. So, not just because you can, just because you have access to do something doesn't mean you will. But I think a lot of men see it that way because if they had access, they would. And the reason why their numbers aren't sky high is because they didn't have the access to all those women that they wanted to have access to.
Now here's where
they can't understand that women don't function the same way that men do. So just because we could doesn't mean we will.
Okay. Now, and I'm hearing a lot of anecdotal stuff. So I don't normally do this, but I'm going to get anecdotal and just talk about my personal experience. You're talking about your personal experience, which is great. I'm going to talk about my personal experience. I cannot tell you how many women have said this to me as they're, let's say, pleasuring me. I've never done this before.
Maybe
this is the first time. Maybe
you're special.
Maybe. No, I'm not.
That's why they were so good at it.
That's why you're so great at it. Like,
he's above average.
He's above God. No, I'm no ouch, no hey, stop, none of that. It's perfect. Like, oh, it's more like, oh, how did you? Hey, how? Wow, would you? Right. So here's the thing. And again, I'm not passing judgment. It's just that's grown up business. And I ain't mad. There are tons of women out there who love to get it on when it comes to sex, right? I'm not mad at that. This woman right here, and again, this is just me observing. She's not if you said the same thing on that platform, most people would be like, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take Sister Ruby at her word. And what are they gonna base that on? They're gonna base the book on the cover, right? Looking at your cover, I could tell, like, I didn't know you had your husband, but I could tell you was impressed. You're a very attractive woman. I'm not saying you're not, you know what I mean? But you're not going out here trying to cake on makeup. You ain't got the twins out. You know what I'm saying? You ain't out here thirst trapping. You ain't out here, but this woman that we saw on this thing, she is. So it's if I got to go ahead and make a call on this, I'm going to make the call that this woman has a rotation and she is smashing at least one dude in that rotation. Now I say, well, why should I have a rotation? Well, she still wants to have experiences. She still doesn't want to have to pay for her date. She's got to have some foodie dudes in there. She's got to have a guy in there with a nice car. She has to have that guy in there that Inky was talking about that's going to throw $1,000 on the table and say, that's your tip. Please don't. Hey, Inky, if that man is ever around me, tell him to keep his money in his pocket. If I see some shit like that, somebody going to have a bad night. So I'm just saying. But my point being, there are more women like the sister we saw in the video, Sister Ruby, than there are women like you today. And why is that? Because of social media. The push is going that direction. You mentioned earlier about, how people would date back in the day. Depending on how far back you're going, You had to get permission from mom and dad just to come calling on said woman. You had to go up and ask, take your hat off and pardon me, sir, Mr. Johnson, how you doing? I'm Mr. Saint. I was wondering if it would be okay, sir, if I could come calling on your daughter, Ruby or Inky, sir. And a lot of that had to be written out. It was letters and everything else, man. It was a whole process, right? Because purity was valued more than anything.
Oh, it's funny you said that, because I was going to say, I don't think she's wearing one of them purity rings.
Oh, hell no. And that's not going to happen. And
Like,
that's
no.
not a problem for the guys in the top 20. It has never been easier. And this is coming from an old man. Look at all the gray and everything. I have never in my life had to block. I be blocking. It's like wax on, wax off. I'm blocking these girls all the time. Like, go on somewhere, little baby. It's never been easier to get sex today in my entire life. And because women, this just like that. You know what I mean? So my point is, society has come to a point where purity is not valued anymore, right? Women are gamed up and guys are not. So the fact that this woman, and she feels comfortable enough to come onto a major platform, right? Latifah, that's major. And she was telling the truth. And all those women are sitting there, with the exception of Pearl, like Pearl don't count. You know what I mean? But all those women are sitting there, they know it's facts, but they don't want to give the game up. You know what I mean? I'm an old dude now. I tell women all the time.
I feel like I hear it was something Wes said about, like, I think it was like not a hurt person, hurt another person mentality, but I felt like, okay, well, I got rejected, so now I'm gonna do the same thing.
The victim and the victimizer.
Yeah, but I agree with you, dear. I feel like she's been 100% transparent in what she's saying. Like, look, I got a roster, but we don't have to dug deep. Like, the question is like, what's your intent? But I'm not gonna press it on her. I'm pressing on everybody else. Like, if you're gonna date, period, date with a intent, but be upfront and honest on both ends of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? If you're being a friend, because again, us guys, we have a different. We just right here back and forth for the first segment. We're on the second one. Guys and girls have a different thought process across the board. So again, if I ask Inky out for lunch, we ain't gonna say a date, but again, she might not, you know what? I don't want you to assume that something may go further than this, but the fact that I don't have a roster, I am single, I don't know what her state of mind is, but she's attractive. Let me shoot my shot. Hey, can I take you out for some coffee, lunch, dinner, whatever? Okay, but just to let you know, we're going as friends. Okay, great. Now we'll see what happens. Moving forward, she might be impressed with me. Okay, leave my number. It's okay if I call you again. Sure, why not? Something might change over time. But now if Inky comes out to me like, yo, hey, I got a roster of friends. Okay, are they really friends? Yeah, they're genuine friends. Okay, do I have a roster of, sex of guys I'm gonna have sex with? I have a roster of, because my intent is marriage. You got to have that conversation up front. Now I'm going to respond back like, what does that look like to you? Now, if it's sounding kind of good, whatever, okay, cool. But fellas, still keep that one eye open and watch how that person moves. If they're telling you and being honest, like, look, I got a roster. I don't care what it is, a roster of friends, roster of sex, roster of attentions. See how that person moves, because that might indicate how you're going to be treated in the long haul for an actual relationship, So that's my thought.
She's honest. And I mean, because the thing is, right, and I like the fact that, first of all, this is illustrating a point I made earlier, which is that we all make assumptions on all kinds of stuff just based on a bunch of stuff on the surface, right? Which is why if you want to be treated like wifey material, who's trustworthy, honest, and virtuous, then there's a certain way you'd have to carry yourself in the world in order for people to see you that way. It doesn't matter. I could be the hugest whore ever, right? And she could be the most chaste person in the world. But the truth is that, just based on the things that DL said, is I'm going to be evaluated as the virtuous one, right? And she's going to be evaluated as the thirsty hoish one, right? And so the way that we're carrying ourselves is going to determine a lot. Like, I've always had male friends, and that has literally never been an issue, like in any relationship I've had since, middle school. It has never been an issue because it's just the way that I carry myself with people.
Has it never been an issue with you, or has it ever been an issue with your other male partner? Like,
that's what I mean. Partner. Yeah, obviously it hasn't been an issue for me. I'm talking about with the people that I've dated. It's never been an issue. We've never had that. Lucky. Yeah, I've never. I mean, I am probably right, but also, it does have a lot to do with the way I interact with people, right? So like my male friends we are literally like, they don't really, it's not like we have like a
Are they
flirtatious kind of
Canadian?
thing, or yes, some of them are Canadian. Most of them are Canadian. Some of them are
what about your husband?
He's not. Okay. Now, anyway.
Really?
Yeah, he's not. Now, anyway, as I was saying, so the thing is
Where's he
that
from?
Again, you said if I answered you, tell me why. You didn't tell me why, did you?
You haven't answered. Where's he from?
I didn't know that wasn't the question.
It's the ultimate goal, though.
That's what I thought. So now, anyway, as I was saying, the point is, right, is one way or the other, it comes down to the way that I interact with people, them included, right? Like my significant others or whatever throughout life. It was just not an issue. It was such a non-issue. So, but I've heard women say, right, even though they're really cool, I've never seen them be slutty or whatever, but they've had that issue with men, right? Where men have been like, no, you can't have male friends, or I can't trust you with these guys, or da-da-da-da-da. Or, so it depends on the individual. It doesn't depend on the person. And I think that part of that, and the way that you're read, the way that your behavior is, some of your behavior you don't even realize is there, because we're not always aware of ourselves totally. I think that also will make a big difference on how men are rating you dating multiple people at the beginning stages before you've gotten some type of commitment somewhere, right? Like, are they seeing that as a rotation and you're a hoe, or are they seeing that as, yeah, of course I'm dating. I'm trying to find the right person to settle down with. So of course I'm dating, because that's how people tend to do.
It's foolish to think that if you tell a guy that you're looking at potentially for a long-term thing, that you're dating in the way that you stated it. I think you might really hurt yourself if that guy's, high value enough. He's not going to take you serious. And I mean, it just is the way it is. I wanted to ask you, Sister Ruby and Sister Inky, your male friends.
Mm-hmm.
You do realize and accept that 99.98% of those dudes would sleep with you if they had the chance.
Disagree.
That red pill logic in there. Boy, I can smell it a mile away.
Ruby's male friends are Canadian.
Even the Canadians are trying to get on. I'm just saying.
Inky, your thoughts? Inky.
Okay, I have been told this before. So because I do get along with males better than females, I have been told this by my male friends, that you realize that, all your guy friends, they would sleep with you if they could. And I'm like, no, they wouldn't, but in actuality, men are the hunters. They're hunters.
I gotta kind of somewhat disagree that, because I remember in high school, my girlfriend at that time, and we just like jackrabbits, DL. And I remember a time I was going home, and she's like, come on, and I turned her down. And then after that, she gave me this long little letter saying, hey, I appreciate you for showing some maturity. There are some guys out there will just turn it down. There are some guys like, look, I didn't say 100%.
I didn't say 100%.
I know.
Like 98%.
Because you didn't want to be up all night.
Yeah, I know. He put the 99 or 98. I didn't hear.
Yeah,
99.98.
Guys that
you might
know
as well go ahead and say it's 100.
Right.
It's 100.
Gray Pill just knew he had to get up early in the morning.
Yeah, that part. But no, it's just the even I got friends from high school that's like, I was still like, hey, a confidant, like maybe I'm not seeing something, maybe another woman has something, a third eye, because there's some things you just can't talk to certain guys for, because guys got that one set, like, yo, get your crap together, keep it moving, right? Okay, then I might have something like, say, relationship wise, I will go to my mom like, yo, what do you think about this woman? A woman know a woman better than another woman, so mom's like, yo, I'm gonna tell you like it is. Okay, cool. I might go to another female closest friend. I know one from obviously since high school. She's been on the panel before, and she might put another caveat to like, okay, here's your options. And I'm like, all right, I never thought of that way. So now I know how to move a little bit better. But I never smashed her. We never held hands. We never kissed. We never did nothing that. I never even flirted with her. I let her know. Now I do let her know, DL, like, because I see them DM like, yo, you thirst trap like a mofo, and she know, and she start laughing. So it never been that let me hit up on somebody. So
and when I say that, ladies, when I say that, to
ladies
on the panel.
Hold on, my bad. Shout out to Marty McFly. Appreciate you, Browns, for coming through. Hey, Bronze, man, I'm gonna hit you up so we can try to get the pills together. So me and Dia kind of just chopped it up a little bit. So we're gonna have like a segment, just all the pills. I think I reached out to a pink pillar out there. So I got some blue pills. They straight blue pillars out there. I think Dio might be surprised and shocked at the same time, but I think he'd be surprised of who I might have as a blue pill. He'd be like, I knew it. But we ain't gonna do that to him. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I see it, man. I'm Neo over here, bro. I see the code just like that background. I see the code. I ain't tripping. And here's the thing: when I say that, I have a lot of female friends as well, right? I tell these dudes, these young guys coming up, and some of these older dudes, man, I'm top tier, da da da. And I say, listen, I'll point to a woman like, you see that beautiful woman right there? If she came up to you right now and said she wanted to have sex with you, would you do it? And they're all like, of course I would, blah blah. I'm like, bro, you still thirsty, man. You ain't up here yet. Right, a true top tier dude can say no to a dime, right? But that is a very, very, very small percentage. That I would argue that dudes who accept that friendship, that friend zone, right? That is a dating strategy. Ladies, come on, y'all. Right, at least, all right. We got to start with Sister Ruby. Give me a percentage of dudes. Give me a percentage of dudes that you believe would have sex with their female friend if they had the opportunity.
That's the thing. You wouldn't have sex with your friends. If you would have sex with your friends, that's not a friendship, right? Maybe you're an orbiter. Maybe you're that one day guy, right? Where you hanging around in friendship mode and hoping one day she might be too drunk or she might be too heartbroken and then she'll spread her legs for you. Maybe one day, right? But that's not a friendship, right?
It's called a sexy friendship.
No, it's not even a sexy. You're masquerading. It's not a friendship, right? Friends with benefits, that's not a friendship.
How come we can't agree on that, love? Can we agree the sun is hot? The sun is hot. Can we agree to that?
Yes, I can definitely agree to that.
Right.
We
gonna get one in.
We got one. That's it.
Hold on. You said a friend with benefits is not a friend?
No, because that's not a friend. I mean, what is a friendship? I think this is the problem.
A homie lover friend?
We use these terms way too loosely and they don't mean anything. And that's why it is that even when we're talking about women and women or men and men, right? People have very few friends and they don't even really know how to determine what a friendship is or how to maintain a friendship or whatever. So we're calling things friendships when they're not friendships. And you know what? I'll tell you something else. Not all women are meant to have male friends and not all men are meant to have female friends. That is a true statement. There are people who can't have a friendship with someone of the opposite sex. They can't have friendships with people that are from the opposite sex because no matter who it is, they're gonna try to smash, right? Or it's always in the back of their head. They don't see the opposite sex as people. They don't interact with them as people or as peers or whatever. They interact with them as a conquest and that's it. Right. So not everyone can have friends of the opposite sex, but some people can and some people do. Right. But again, that's a friendship. And if you look at these people, whether they're same sex or opposite sex, and you can't see that these friendships look exactly the same, then they're not friendships. Right. Because your friendship with a woman and your friendship with a man, the underlying basis of friendship should be the same, whether it's with same sex or the opposite sex. And if it's not, that's not a friendship.
I cannot disagree with you more, love.
All right,
but I mean, I love you, but I cannot disagree with you more. I'm telling you, I would even concede on my percentage. All right, 90% of dudes in friendship Jones will have sex with with said woman if they got the chance. Down 9%. I'll say, and I'll say 10%.
We're working on the roof.
I'll get there, but the fact remains is, and when I talk to my female friends about this, I'm real serious too. I'm like, listen, y'all need to understand that the vast majority of men or your friend is stuck in that zone because he's stuck there. He wants you. I mean, maybe he forgot about it and he's like, you know what, we are cool. But like you said, that dude will, given the chance, will more than likely take you up on it. And what would you say to those people? Well, okay, well, they were not friends, but what would you say to the woman who actually married the dude who hung out in the friendship zone for 15 years? Then one night she just decided to give him some, and they went off to they rode off into the sunset and
she knew he wasn't a friend at the time. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Is anyone who says that, okay, the friend zone, not friendship, right? Again, someone got friend zoned. That means you came into this where one person was attracted to the other. One person wanted to be with the other, and then they accepted what they could get. That is not the same thing as starting a friendship with someone. And this is the thing, again, people keep calling it friendship when it's not friendship. The person who kept that man in friend zone for 15 years while she did her dirt, she did her games, she went through her stuff, because she wasn't ready for a good man that would love her, and then finally picked the guy up out of the friend zone. She knew he wasn't a friend the whole 15 years.
I have a question. How would that guy feel after being in the friend zone for 15 years and then her finally saying, okay, we can hang out. We can be a couple.
That's why he stayed there. Yeah.
He'd probably
I
feel
would
like,
be- I-
you know how I would.
he would
You
feel
know
like
how
the
I would
biggest
feel.
chump.
Exactly.
No, he would.
I would be
like,
like, you're now choosing me. I don't want to. No. I'd
no,
be
that
like,
guy was
now-
a Eureka success. That was his dating
Yeah.
strategy. And he was in
That
for
was
the
his
long haul.
exactly.
But
That was
after
his
it-
goal. That's why
but
he
at-
stayed there.
But see, after it, he's going to be like, "The hell is this?" I mean, I remember one time when I was in Washington D.C. and they had a festival, and I wanted to get some boba tea. I waited in that damn line for 45 minutes, and at a certain point, I just felt obligated to wait in the line. Then I got the boba tea. I'm like, "Was this worth it? What the hell am I doing here?" And I left.
Yeah,
I guarantee.
but see, Vanessa
This
Williams,
guy, after
saved the best
15
for
years,
last.
he taps it, and then he's like,
Nope.
"Hell, was I doing here?"
Nope.
Nah, he's in
because-
love, brother. He's in love, bro. 6% of the time
Exactly.
he's in love.
He's in love. And so that's the thing. So save the best for last. That's why that song is like a thing from both sides, right? But that's the thing, because the entire
That's not
time
the song
they're-
you should listen to. Look, pimping ain't easy. You need to listen to that.
But if you're saving
That is
the
the
best,
lyric.
Save the, that's what
That
Save
is
the
the
Best for
lyrics.
Last is. Save the
But
Best
if-
for Last is a song about being in the friend zone with somebody who you're like, why can't you see I'm perfect for you? And you never let go of that because you're deeply, madly, truly in love with this person. And that person knows you are. They know you are. And that's why they want to keep you orbiting around them, because they know they'll get all of the relationship as far as like boyfriendy, husbandy things from you. They know they're going to get all of that. Same thing on the opposite side. They know they're going to get all of it from you without any of the commitment. They're never going to have to do that. And then they can tell you stuff like, your friendship means too much to me. I would never want to risk our friendship, da 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 da. And you are going to still keep giving them all of that, and they're going to keep getting to be that close to you, and they're in love with you. So it's going to be acceptable, and they're going to keep keeping the dream alive. So if you finally hand them the dream, no, they're going to be saying, yes, you went and saved the best for last. And they're going to feel very special and very happy.
If you run across any of those dudes, send him to me. Send that young Jedi to me so I can corrupt him and bring him to the dark side. That's what he needs. He needs the dark side in his life, because these dudes who do that is terrible.
Wait, I'm sorry, my bad. So all right, so final thoughts on the roster. So again, me personally, I'm with Inky on this one. Got to be upfront and personal about it. Like, look, if you're asking me for a date, this is what the parameters is of the friendship. It's the parameters is if we're continuing this becomes something sexual. So I hope people think out just be straightforward with it. Are we dating for the roster of sex? Is the roster for attention? Is the roster for marriage? Got to be honest with that. Set the parameters, set the boundaries, so that guy can know how to move. And he probably learned something from that type of chick. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna get to the last one. I see Poppy already got his thoughts on the roster, thinks that women with rosters are 304s. Shout out to him. Hey, Poppy, I don't mind drop the link. I just want to give out the last segment, give our thoughts on this one, because I know Wes like to go night certain time, and I dropped in, give like a little extra, bring one person time and have their thoughts on the last one, because this is the one we was all waiting for this one. So, final thoughts of the roster. So, is she right, wrong, and our perspective? We'll go with Ruby, Wes, Inky, DL, and then we'll move on to the next.
Okay, so again, I do think, first of all, the roster / rotation kind of thing, it has that implication of, again, you're swapping people in for sex and attention. And that's not the same thing to me as dating in the dating stage, right? Now, again, taking the label away, the point is that when you're out there, probably the healthiest way to go about things, and it was like this even back in courting times, right, is that you're single, you're ready to be out there and to potentially find a husband, right? So you've got to date multiple people. You locking your attention down with this one person is only going to make, as a woman especially, you latch on to that one person without being objective and being able to keep your objectivity. That's why you date multiple people. But dating means going on dates with people. It doesn't mean making out with them heavy. It doesn't mean sleeping with them. It doesn't mean crossing those boundaries. You're supposed to be in the getting to know you process. And to me, sex is not part of the getting to know you process. Once two people have decided, hey, I've gotten to know you, I like where this goes, I'd like to be exclusive with you. That is the next step there, right? Before boyfriend and girlfriend and whatever, I'd like to be exclusive. I'd like to stop seeing other people. Would you like to stop seeing other people? Let's make this thing exclusive. And so when she's talking about that step before you make things exclusive, I think that is actually a healthy thing for people to do. You're not sitting around just waiting for your phone to ring. That means you're not overly obsessing. That means you're not doing all of the unhealthy kinds of things to overly latch on to one person before you've even been able to notice the red flags or not. right? But at the same time, if you're not sleeping around and doing all the other stuff you shouldn't be doing with multiple people, you're just getting to know people, it's going to allow you to probably settle down with the best person for you instead of just the only option that's there because that's who you settled with. So,
all right, fair enough. Wes?
I think the roster is wrong no matter who's doing it. It's a way for people to feel. Men and women use it differently and similar, but I think for her, the way she's using it, she's using it in a way to make herself feel more value by having more low value men chasing after her.
All right, fair enough. Inky?
I feel that so we're going to go back to the friend zone. I feel that if he waited for her and it's been waiting and waiting and waiting, that he is the one that is settling for less than what he could have got from a woman that really wanted to invest herself in him to begin with. That is my final decision on that. As far as her going out with other men, as long as everybody is on board, everybody knows, and there's no confrontation, and she's not sleeping with them, which would probably be very hard for her. I have to agree with Poppy on this. If a woman has 4 or 5 guys out there that she's seeing at once, there's one of them that she is more attached to at some point. I just don't see that not happening. Yeah, that's how I feel about that. I don't agree with it. I think it's very shady, in my opinion. Typically, when you meet someone, you can tell if you have that original attraction. You're not going to put someone in the friend zone unless you're not really attracted to them. I don't know about anybody else on the panel, but if you're attracted to a woman and you want to take her out on a date, you're attracted to her. Like, you're not going to want to just take out anybody, right? And if you're that attracted to her, am I talking to myself? Can you guys hear me?
Oh, no, we hear you.
If you're that attracted to her, wouldn't your feelers kind of be hurt that she's like hanging out with other guys?
I got a song for you. I got it. All you gotta do is listen to that song, Big Pimpin', Spending G's. Ain't nobody worried about that, bro.
What you got thoughts on that one, Dio?
Here's my take on it, right? Since women got the ability to vote and make their own money and do their own thing, they've been running rotations. I'm just gonna keep it 100. It's easy, right? For multiple reasons. It might not all be about sex, but she is definitely someone in that rotation is there for sex. And they're like the foodie dates and the guy with the nice car and the guy who just makes her laugh. And then, it goes the whole gamut, right? But this is what I tell everybody. Keep your mouth shut. Don't be going on the internets telling everybody what you're doing. Don't be telling on yourself, right? Plausible deniability only works if there's no evidence, right? What am I talking about? I'm talking about President Clinton. I did not have sexual contact with that girl. Only
it
works.
Wasn't me. It
only works. Exactly. It wasn't me. That's another song for you. You know what I mean?
Then you'd have to keep them in separate area codes so they don't even run into each other.
That's another song. Ho!
I told my neighbors that
area codes. That's another song.
I agree, Poppy. I can't agree with him more. Whoever Poppy is spitting out facts over here.
But here's the thing, though. If you're gonna run rotations, right? If you're gonna live that life, you're gonna, you're gonna be a player. You're gonna live that life. Just do it the way you're supposed to do it. Keep your mouth shut. Don't tell on yourself. Women been doing this for a very long time because it's easy, and top tier men has been doing this since the beginning of time. It is what it is. Accept it or don't, but that's what it is.
All right, fair enough. All right, Poppy, I'm gonna drop the link for you in the group, man. Please, Poppy been a supporter of this channel. We've been at the mud from the beginning. I'm just asking, Poppy, I'm trying to get a brand deal. I got three.
You already know what it is.
I got 3 emails. I'm just asking. I don't care you being you. Just try to tone down the profanity. That's all I ask, man. That's all I ask.
Poppy's jokes. It's been so long.
No.
What's up, Poppy? How you doing?
I know. I even had an introduction. I was trying to work with them too when he come in. Yeah. All right. So let me share this last one. Poppy, I'm gonna drop the link in the group. Mm-hmm. If you came up, that's fine because clearly Inky wants to see what you look like. But y'all both Latinos, so that's what's up.
Maybe I'm just squishy, but I wouldn't want to be on a guy's roster.
Baby,
No,
you've been
gross.
on rosters. You just didn't know it. I'm just keeping it 100 with you. You've been on rosters, and the true player's he's gonna keep that away from you. If you're dealing with an advanced type player, he's gonna tell you so you.
Yo,
can
but
choose.
bro, like real talk though, but that's like I ain't gonna lie, like maybe because I'm getting older, that's a lot of attention to spread out to like just multiple chicks.
It's a lot of
That's
work.
not true though. Wait, hold on. If you do not have sex outside of monogamy and commitment, then it's not true that you were for sure part of
If you
somebody's
keep it
roster.
okay, but
That's
okay.
not true.
I'll be okay. I'm fair with that, but I'm talking about the kind of roster like I think me and Dale think the same thing. Like if I'm dating multiple chicks, it's kind of hard to keep up with any of them. But
Text
a lot of guys.
messages.
Yeah, all
Phone
that. A lot
calls.
of guys, a lot of guys are gonna keep that. Not saying they don't want to keep the story straight, but a lot of guys in that caliber of men or boys or teenagers, whatever, they're not gonna be 100% honest with all the women. Like that's what me and DL was saying. On the other side, I feel like women that has a roster, if they be honest, they will still get the same attention, whether it was sex, friendship, friend zoning, sexual attention, or marriage, they will still get the same attention. But on the men's side, it's like you got to be in a certain type of caliber of man. Like, look, I'm dating you, I'm dating you, I'm dating you, I'm effing you, I'm effing you, I'm effing you. Me, I'm looking for marriage, but guess what? I'm going out with other women. I don't need to give you the name, the address, but just let you know what it is.
But that's what I mean. No, people say that. They say they're not exclusive yet. We're just getting to know each other. There's no commitment yet. And people are honest on that level. They say, like, listen, like when you go on a date with someone, right? There's no commitment yet. Like, I don't know why we're talking about, like, you went on date one and then now there's some type of thing you owe each other to just keep dating each other exclusively until you figure out, is this a person for me or not? That's not the way dating has ever worked. That is not the way that getting to know people has ever worked. You start talking to someone, right? And then you talk to them on the phone and and whatever. And then, hey, if someone else asks them out on a date or vice versa, they go until you decide you want to have the exclusivity conversation or, you know, if you want to go back further, the going steady conversation. You want to go back further from there, you go to the courting phase, right? So, I mean, every step along the way for hundreds of years, we have absolutely had this process, which starts off with a woman being single and multiple men trying to get their attention and buy a little bit of time with them to see if, you know, she would settle down with him pretty much, right?
Sister,
that is the way
is
things
off.
have been.
Your math is off a little bit. I don't know what
How
y'all doing
so?
up there in Toronto, but your math is off just a little bit, love. I mean, it's
I'm still with a tent. It got to be your tent up front. Like, what's your tent?
If you're living that player's life, right? And you're a top tier player and you know what you're doing. Again, back in the day when I was doing my thing, every woman in my rotation knew she was in the rotation, right? Go back. You can watch the Medium Man. He's on YouTube. He talks about this all the time. Guys who women want, the top tier dudes, can absolutely tell the truth. And women will absolutely compete for these guys. They'll take their slot and try to get to the number one slot in the rotation.
Right, but that's not the majority of the world. And I don't. We always like to have these conversations where, like, when it gets to the nitty gritty, we're not talking about the majority. We're talking about some subsection, and I'm talking about the majority, right? And so again, the majority of dating works this way, where two people meet each other, and those two people say, "Hey, I've got an interest in you. Yeah, I kind of like you too. Want to go on a date somewhere? Great." And that doesn't mean they are now exclusive with each other. That's not what that means as a generalized concept. That's not what it means, because you go on that first date to see, hey, is there any type of chemistry? Do we have anything to be worthwhile of a second, probably more invested date, right? Because maybe the first date's coffee, second date might be go-karting, the third date might be, you know, dinner or whatever, right? And the point of the dating thing is I'm trying to get to know you. I want to see if there's a future here, right? And so until you have the exclusivity conversation, right? Neither party, not the man or the woman, is expecting the other person to be exclusive to them. That's why you have the exclusivity conversation, because you say, hey, listen, I really like you. I can see a future with you. So I don't want to date other people anymore. Right? You're hoping they say the same thing. So at least you get to exclusive level. And then you get to monogamous committed level, right? And so those are actually stages that happen. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't people who live forever indefinitely in rotation land or whatever, right? Where they're just swapping sexual partners over and over and over again. And when one person's not available to have sex with them on Friday, they just go to the next one and whatever, right? And they're just getting run through by the rotation. And then when one person drops off, they just add a new sex partner to the rotation. I'm not saying that that's not true. I'm just saying when we're talking about the concept of getting to know people, right? You're newly single, you're now out on the dating market. This is how people tend to date. They date, they're dating casually, not sexing casually, dating casually, because I don't know you yet. I would like to get to know people. I don't want to just lock myself down with the first person who shows interest. I want to find a better match than my last relationship, right?
But
and once I find a good match, then let's have an exclusivity discussion.
Sis, I don't know what y'all doing up in Winnipeg, but down here,
not in Winnipeg.
I'm just throwing out different cities. I said Toronto earlier. Now it's Winnipeg. I'm running out of cities fast. I got to pull out my map. But anyway, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Young kids today, and this is go back a good 25 years. When they say they're dating, they really mean they're effing, they're smashing, right? That was just like, we're dating. They're having sex. Like, so what you're talking about, I would argue, is not the norm. What we're talking about, unfortunately, is. So that's why I was like, your math isn't quite, your sciences is a little bit off, right? And maybe because you're going too anecdotal. Right. And I do a little bit of anecdotal, but I'm just basing it on, what, again, I was in LA for a long time. I was in Cincinnati. I was in LA. I was in Miami. I've been around.
So you actually left California, sir?
Oh, boy, I couldn't wait to get out, man. It was like Escape LA, bro. Escape. I had to get up out of there, bro. They got zombies out there, no police, man. It's
part of the
crazy
team now. We collect them, boys. We collect them.
Boy, it's crazy out there, bro. Like, I couldn't wait to get up out of there, bro. But my point being, the American dating scene, I don't care if you're in Fayetteville, North Carolina, or you in West Hollywood, LA, or you in Brickell, Miami. In America, dating means they're smashing. And these women say, I'm dating a couple guys, 2 or 3 guys. They're smashing those dudes. They're smashing 2 or 3 of those dudes. You know what I mean? Like, sis, I hear you, and I admire your choices in life, but that's not going on down here.
Well, I mean, Inky is American, and I've met a lot of women. Now, again, are we, again, am I saying myself or the women that I've met online or the people I know in real life or whatever are representative of the entire demographic of women? Like, no, right? But again, it's like, are Miami girls and LA girls, are they representative of the entire American demographic? Also, no, right? And so, like, city girls, this is why they have a term for them, city girls, right? So, I mean, we can't say that all people are defined by like this 20% demographic, right? They might be the flashiest, they might be the most interesting, they might be the wildest, they might be the ones who get TV shows like, Real Housewives and whatever. But the reality is most people are just kind of normal people, right? Again, average people. Most people are just average people. Most guys are not PIMPs, right? Most women are not hoes.
But the point I was trying to impress upon you is, I've been in Grayling, Michigan. I've been in Traverse City, Michigan, right? Smashing, right? I've been in Grayling, Michigan with just regular Americans doing my thing, the whole one night and everything. I'm just saying, it does not matter when you're talking about America. Same thing. I bumped into women from France in America. They wanted to get it on. Japanese women over here in America, they wanted to get it on. I'm not saying it's bad, but I was dating according to them. We are dating.
Okay, you have some skill.
Like, I'm blowing that back out. Ain't no dating going on.
That's you.
But it wasn't just me. I mean, it was so many Americans that have this shared experience. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong. What does dating mean when we're dating?
What does the word friend mean?
What?
Friends is like hanging out. Dating is like you're a little more exclusive, and then courting. I sent Grey Pill a link to this page which explains like courting is being used way too loosely right now. Courting is not dating. Courting is where you're allowed to build feelings with that other person and you're exclusive with that person. Where dating is I don't even know where
dating is smashing. It's smashing.
Dating is equivalent
to hanging out.
If we're going back to again the time where courting was an actual thing, right? So then let's take the show Bridgerton. That's a good example. Let's take the show Bridgerton, right? So in the show Bridgerton, right, the first thing you have to do is present your daughter, right? And she gets the presentation. She is now a young lady, so now she can receive suitors. Okay, dating. For real, not the way that modern people want to use this term to cover up all their hoish ways, but I mean, what dating is the getting to know you process. This is when the suitors show up at your house and say, hi, I would love to have a conversation over tea with your daughter while you watch us. And hopefully I can charm her enough into agreeing to accompany me on a walk at night. Okay, that's what the suitors are doing. right? Because they would like to get to the stage of courting. And so suitors showing up and wanting to have conversations to get to know her and to try to hopefully charm her into agreeing to be courted, right? That is dating. That is what the equivalent is, right? So just because now within the dating thing, everyone has decided that dating and having sex has to be synonymous because getting to know you now has to include sex, which I think is insane. It doesn't mean that that is true. The truth is dating is part of the getting to know you without all the commitment, without all of that, because we're trying to see if we want to get to commitment, right? And that is kind of like the equivalent of the suitor showing up. Courtship is the kind of the thing right before engagement, right? We're committed now, right? We're gonna focus on each other and we're gonna see if, hey, let's see if we can really make a go of this, right? It's the thing that happens right before engagement.
All right, so that was the final thoughts. So we're gonna go to what everybody been waiting for. The guy went on a date. He gonna let us explain himself. He went on a date. He got set up. Poppy, I'm drop you the link. We're not going back to those last two conversations, so I'm dropping the link, Poppy.
Seeing,
but I know he's gonna do it.
Seeing someone. Okay, Harley Dad said. So it's seeing someone, and then dating is more exclusive. Lord Jesus, every like 3 years we keep changing terminology. How do you keep up?
Honestly, I thought it was every 10, but I'm good with every 3. I think I'm going to not argue that one. All right, so shout out to the guy. This is the guy that went on a date. He got stood up, so let him explain himself. Yeah.
So I just left the restaurant after waiting 30 minutes for a date to show up, and apparently I got stood up. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm trying to do everything right to be a gentleman. I brought flowers. I've been consistent talking with this girl for 2 weeks, trying to get to know what she likes, what she doesn't like. I made plans. I picked the restaurant, the day, and the time. You know, I've done everything to be just the kind of guy that would value somebody's time. Like, I'm just looking for my person. I'm just looking for the one that I guess is out there for me. I mean, I want to be somebody's husband someday, father. I'm trying to do everything that's right, and I just get stood up. Like, my feelings didn't even matter. Sitting there eating a meal by myself and realizing that nobody even cares about people anymore. Like, alien dating shouldn't even be this hard. It shouldn't be this hard to find somebody. It shouldn't be this difficult to fall in love, to be kind to one another. Like, what, ladies, tell me, what did I do wrong? So I just left the restaurant after.
All right, question for the ladies. What did he do wrong? We'll go with Inky first. What did he do wrong, lady?
So he got attached during these phone calls in the last couple of weeks, and he was in the friend zone.
All right. Again, short and sweet. I like it. Ruby, what did he do wrong? You're muted, madam.
I know. I can't be short and sweet. I don't know how to compete. I just don't. I'm trying.
It's all good. No. You're good. You're good.
I mean, first of all, his first assumption is incorrect because he's assuming she didn't show up. I'm looking through his page right now because, well, I have some questions, but yeah, he's assuming she didn't show up, and that oftentimes is not true. If you were bonding pretty well on the phone and you thought, like, literally up until the hour before that everything was cool, and then all of a sudden she didn't show up, there's a good chance she showed up, but she showed up in a way that you didn't see her, and she decided to back out before you ever got to see her, right? And it's kind of the reason why I was looking at his profiles, because I wanted to see how big he was. Not even gonna lie, because he's saying that he's having trouble finding love in LA. A very vain, very conceited kind of town. And it's kind of like when we think about women who only show that little part of themselves, and we're like, well, how big are you? Because, he might have thought that maybe you were more attractive and thinner than you appeared to be in real life. And I'm thinking maybe she thought the same thing. He looked kind of buff over the internet, whatever, this little square. She kind of did like the vibe, but when she showed up and saw him sitting there, she was like, not for me. So that's what I think.
DL with the dunce hat.
Listen, what did he do wrong? I don't really blame him. This guy's one of those generations that came up with, everyone gets a trophy. This is what it looks like when you get into the real world. This man does not understand the world. He doesn't understand the dating game, right? All's fair in love and war. This man has no idea he's in a firefight. He's in a firefight for his life, and he's out there with his one-shot musket, black powder, and the woman is out there with a she ain't even there. She's got one of those VR dogs. She got one of those robot dogs with a minigun on his back, and she at home tearing his butt up. Men need to understand that the game has changed. That's it. This dude refuses to accept that, and he's out here. He got crushed. I didn't know he was in LA. He should stop. He's in LA. If he was talking to me, brother, if you're watching this, whoever you are, man, first of all, don't be crying, thinking that's going to get you somewhere. God, that was horrible. That was horrible. If you crying, somebody better be bleeding on the ground, body parts are missing. That's the only time you could maybe your ferret got ran over. Maybe. That's the only time you can cry. Maybe. Your ferret got ran over, got out the cage. Maybe. Don't be crying, bro. Be a man, right? People don't know what being a man. Again, the game has changed. Y'all are so. I think. Did he talk on the phone, or was that all via DM? Did they actually talk to one another?
That's a good question. He claimed that they had all communication. So
DM. I would argue that he's been DMing this chick or whatever. I don't want to say chick. This young woman. He was DMing her. She finally was like, "All right, yeah, you can take me somewhere." And maybe she planned to go. Right? Maybe she absolutely planned to go and got a better offer. That's the game. You got to stack those up, especially in LA. He should have had 4 or 5 dates set up that night. So, all right, this one fell through. I'm off to the next one.
So you're totally agreeing with my first 2 points.
I'm with you. Like I said, the sun is hot, girl. We there. The sun is hot. You know what I mean? Canuck, the sun is hot.
Wes, your thoughts?
Well, this guy is obviously hurting a lot, and I think it's a weird part of modern society where people take their problems to social media. I think when people take their problems to social media, it's because they don't have any other outlet to try and understand the world around them. So he's trying to understand the world around him, and I think we do have like an instinctual understanding that social media has morphed the world around us. And he's not a young guy. You look at him, you can tell that he's got to be in his late 30s.
I was gonna say 40s.
Yeah, well, at late 30s at least, because you can see that he's got a lot of gray going on, and he's got a wonky eye. So I don't think a woman showed up and looked at him far away and be like, "Oh, well, that's what he really looks like." You could really tell just by like looking at his face and like just his shoulders, like he's going to be a slightly bigger guy, and he's got that wonky eye he can't hide. So
he's got a terrible stature, posture. Also, like he dresses kind of like he thinks he's in high school still, but he's just not built like he's in high school still. So, I mean, and this is what I was trying to say like earlier, like it matters, right? The woman is going to take one glance at you. That's what I'm saying. That woman probably did show up, but if that's how he came dressed and he holds himself that way, and that's what he radiates.
But he was wearing what he in the video, he was wearing how he dressed. Like she showed up and saw that if she showed up, 'cause I don't think she did, she would have saw that he had flowers and he had a nice shirt on.
Yeah, but what's a nice shirt, first of all? And that's what I mean. Because a shirt that fits you well, that is actually tailored to your body, and that is tailored to your slightly over. No, I'm not. See, this is the thing. Men don't pay attention to little details the way women do. And so a woman is going to write you off as sloppy,
So you're
unattractive,
justifying this?
unconfident. No, what I'm saying is that's what he did wrong, right? This has nothing to do with justifying. The reality is
He wore the wrong shirt. That's why she didn't show up.
Actually,
I'm
no,
gonna say
it's not,
something controversial
it's not just a
here.
shirt, it's everything.
I agree with Sister Ruby. I'm on board. I'm team Ruby for now. Her math is mathing right now.
There you
bro.
go, sir.
Her
Go
math
and get
is
up
mathing.
there.
Thank
Go and
you.
get up there. Go and get up there.
Thank you.
Harley Dad,
Harley,
your thoughts?
Brother Harley. What's
Harley
good?
Dad, appreciate you coming through. People can't read, but it's all good.
I know it wasn't for me. I do apologize.
No,
And it wasn't going to pop up. I just didn't want to type on what I was going to say. I'm looking at this like, do we even know if this girl was real, first off? Or is this a a setup for him to try and get sympathy for other girls to reach out and be like, well, I'll go on a date with you kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe there was no girl and he just set this whole thing up just so he can try and get dates this way because it wasn't working the other way.
Well, let's ask our spy up here.
Huh?
I said, let's ask our spy up here. She's creeping on his Instagram.
Okay. In my opinion, I think it was real. Just based on the way he does content. He's a comedian. But like a stand-up comedian on stage and whatever, this is not like this wouldn't be his brand. So I think
I'm a stand-up girl. I'm gonna go check it out. He better be a real. He's an open micer. He ain't a real stand-up comedy. I don't
know. It was on stage. It was him on stage.
But yeah, see, I know nothing about him other than the clip I just saw. That's the only thing I know about him.
Yeah, we can do a deep dive after the fact. I don't mind doing that, but just a generalization of the conversation, like he's saying what he doing wrong. He looked like he's about to cry, according to Wes with the wonky eyes. So maybe the tear was coming out that side. The shirt. I saw Wes said it. I didn't. I saw the $9.99 flowers because that was some cheap flowers. I seen the label on that one. So but again. That's how then we talk about average. That's what most average dudes do. They go by what a woman tell them, and then he said, "Okay, let me check the list." He didn't do the pen, he did pencil, and he took off and went there. So maybe she saw me.
It's not what women say; it's what society says. I would argue that the average dude has bought into the Disney fairy tale 100%. The average dude is, and you need to deprogram it. That's what again these type conversations. What are you gonna tell that guy? I'm like, bro, you should know better. What are you doing? Take her out for coffee or ice cream. Dinner, you don't even know shorty, and she probably won't show up. So stack up some dates.
All right. Well, hold on 1 second. Sitting high and looking low. Appreciate you for coming through. I'm assuming you're new. I hope you hit the subscribe button just like everybody else. Definitely hit the like. It helps us out. If you want to chat around and hang out a little bit for the conversation. If you need an update just on the conversation we're talking about now, I don't mind playing the video back. So let me know. Sitting high and sitting low. That's a cool name. Pop, go ahead, Harley. Then we'll introduce Poppy Blanco.
Well, I was just saying that's one of the things that kind of pushed me more towards maybe this was a setup to try and get sympathy dates because he had to push his glasses up right in a row, showing the roses that we hadn't seen before, right? Like he intentionally. It seemed to me like he intentionally did it just to show. Oh, look, hey, look, I brought roses. I brought, That's why I'm leaning more towards it was kind of a setup to get
so we're saying the blue pill /simp method to put the sympathy card. All right.
Look at how many things are wrong.
If anybody don't know,
he has a backpack on. Oh my god, he has a backpack.
He did have a backpack on?
Jesus. Yeah, he has a backpack. It's like a gold.
All right, we making it. Oh no, we making it worse. We making it worse now. He's making it worse. He's making it worse.
His lineup is all funky. I'm trying to tell you, image is everything, and women pick up on all these details in an instant. I'm telling you, women are very picky when it comes to little details.
You just read into that too much.
Sloppy.
I did see it. She called it that. But the woman
maybe he needs a woman to dress him.
Probably.
Men don't care as much.
Yeah, well, you got to if you want to attract a woman who cares.
No, we got to hear Blanco. We got to have Blanco blow the spot up, bro.
Go ahead.
No bullshit. I met my wife wearing a pair of jeans and a shirt just like this, and we've been married for 13 years. So, I mean, yes, a lot of women are different. Of course, everybody's different. And I know a lot of women do. Like when I was dating back then, when I would dress up when I went out to the bar to try and hook up with somebody, and but when I met my wife, it was just like, I'm done with that. I'm going to be me. This is what I normally wear. I mean, Grey Pill knows he always sees me in a cut-off shirt like this. Like, this is what I wear. I'm not going to dress up. I'm not going to get fancy. You're going to like me for me, or it's not going to happen.
Can I ask you where you live, though? Like, where did you meet your wife? Like, which
in
city?
In Southern Oregon.
Right.
So more country, yes. There is.
In LA or Miami or and this is, and we have to be cognizant of those things, right? Like I don't live in I'm Canadian, right? But I don't live in Toronto, right? I live in Mississauga, which is basically the suburbs, right? So the standard for how I would just look cute, appropriate, and whatever just existing in Mississauga is different than in Toronto proper,
right?
Downtown, whatever on the strip. And so I think that's the thing. This guy lives in LA. He doesn't live in Oregon, right?
Right. But if I was in LA, I would be dressing just like this.
Yeah,
that's my thing. I'm a little bit of a different breed. Like this is me. This is what I like to wear. If you don't like it, it's not going to work out. It's fine. I'll move on. We'll try and find somebody else. Right. But he obviously is having some issues trying to figure out what he's doing wrong. And yeah, it's not everybody's like that. A lot of women, a lot of men, are very cognizant of stuff like, oh, I got to have the shoes that don't have any stains on them. They got to be pretty and You know, I can't have the pant leg tucked into the tongue of it because I just got out of the car. I got to fix that. It's just yeah.
Let me introduce Papi Blanco. If anybody don't know him, he's been a supporter and helper of the channel from the very, 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 very beginning. We're both at the mud, so I appreciate Papi Blanco coming in. I'm Drain Papi, so I don't have the usual yell and scream your intro, but I appreciate you coming on through, man. So what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on the current topic at hand with the video?
Oh man, how's everybody doing tonight?
Hey, Poppy.
How you doing, man?
Long time no see.
Yeah, I know, Ruby, you don't love me no more. That's why you don't see me.
You don't go live anymore. What do you mean I don't love you? Where you been?
Yeah, I'm busy. I'm trying to be rich like you, girl.
That's fair. That's fair. I got you.
Yeah, man. But in the video, man, this guy is pathetic, bro. Let's just call it what it is. This is a pathetic man. I don't believe this thing is true, but I ain't gonna lie. I know there is a lot of guys doing the same exact thing that this man did. First of all, why are you going live to kind of like tell on your tell your L's to the world? Like, why do you think you're gonna get some sympathy from these bros out here? Like, do you think that's gonna get you any kind of bumping out here? That's what I want to know. Yo, when you out here dating, bro, no, the number one rule is that you're gonna catch some L's. That's just part of the game, fam. You gotta live with them. You're gonna catch some L's. Once you understand that, man, everything else becomes easy, bro. Easy. And let's just assume that story is true, right? Let's just assume that. That man knew that woman doesn't like him like that. You know how I know? Because a woman that like you, they make it real easy for you, bro. It's that simple. It don't matter if you take her to the $1,000 date, to the steakhouse, to Hell's Kitchen, to all these fancy places, or you take it to the mama and pap's restaurant in Jersey or New York, man, for it's like $20-30 a plate, yo. That's just how it is, bro. You know when a woman is into you because she is gonna press the issue to hang out with her. She gonna be like, "Oh, Papi, where we gonna hang out?" That's how you know you got her, bro. That's the problem with men nowadays, that they meet the bro on Tuesday. They already pressing that bro on Wednesday to talk about let's go out. That's not how that works, man. You setting yourself up for failure. So at that point, what she sees a sucker. So hey, what is a sucker good to do? To lick him. Just lick a sucker, bro. Do I feel sorry for him? Nope. I don't feel sorry for bros either. That's just the game, man. We're in the jungle, man. He'll be eating. That's just how it is, man. That's just how it is. And he should have known that woman wasn't. He said he bought roses. And what else he brought?
And a nice shirt. He wore a nice shirt.
Like a chick would know that.
But he was wearing a backpack. Ruby noticed he was wearing a backpack.
Yes.
Hold on, can you show the video? I know I seen this video. Can you show it one more time? How long is it?
It's about a minute. I don't mind showing it again.
It's painful to watch.
Please.
All right.
Did anybody have thoughts on what Papi said? We agree to disagree with what Papi said? Inky? We agree or disagree?
Oh, Inky dropped.
He's gone.
Oh, she'll probably be back.
But I mean, I agree because it's kind of what I was saying. Like, it's sad, you know. It's like, oh, should we have more compassion for people in general? Sure, but the reality is, right? We have make decisions about people in 3 to 5 seconds, 5 to 7 seconds. That's it. So you have a maximum of 10 seconds to make an impression on someone. And the truth is, again, that what appeals to women and what appeals to men is going to be different. Right? What appeals to men is not, a lot of aggression and masculinity and I can take care of this type of energy, right? But that definitely appeals to women. And, men tend to find something attractive, but certainly more softer, more feminine, more inviting, more nurturing, attractive and appealing. This guy, I don't know, to me, again, he doesn't seem to command or radiate the kinds of things that women tend to feel attracted to.
Yeah, Harley, just respect to the child. Calm down when you have your child up, man. Yeah, we got vultures on this side of space.
Yeah, Yeah, protect your fam, bro. You don't want people to see
So
your
I just
kids.
left the restaurant after waiting 30 minutes for a date to show up, and apparently I got stood up. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm trying to do everything right to be a gentleman. I brought flowers. I've been consistent talking to this girl for 2 weeks, trying to get to know what she likes, what she doesn't like. I made plans. I picked the restaurant, the day, and the time. You know, I've done everything to be just the kind of guy that would value somebody's time. Like, I'm just looking for my person. I'm just looking for the one that, I guess, is out there for me. I mean, I want to be somebody's husband someday, father. I'm trying to do everything that's right, and I just get stood up. Like, my feelings didn't even matter. Sitting there eating a meal by myself and realizing that nobody even cares about people anymore. Like, alien dating shouldn't even be this hard. It shouldn't be this hard to find somebody. It shouldn't be this difficult to fall in love, to kind to one another. Like, what, ladies, tell me, what did I do wrong?
Stop laughing. Not trying to laugh. Stop laughing.
Hey, I'm pro, man. Hey, I want all my guys to win, bro. This is funny, though.
I can't.
Yo, look, man. Every girl that I've been with, the ones that I haven't smashed yet, they tell me the same exact thing. Women knows in the first 3 to 10 minutes if they're gonna put that thing on you, yes or no. It's that simple. All the men have to do is sit back, don't say nothing crazy, and don't talk yourself out of the box. This is what girls tell me. I'm not a woman. I'm telling you what they all tell me. They all tell me, Papi, I knew I was gonna give you this wet thing the first 3 5 minutes that I seen you and you said a couple of words to me. This is what they say. This man right here, though, he was gonna catch that L the first 3 to 5 minutes he made that woman. So, my man tripping, bro. Hey, this is pathetic, man. Man, we gotta do better, bro. Like, man is the new. I cannot use profanity, right? Yeah, yo, you killing me with all this PJ-13 crap you got going on, fag.
Hey, but hold on. But Harley had made a point, right? Which I'm kind of like leaning to that a little bit. In the comment section, though, Harley Dad, the comments goes, this is from female. I'll pray you find your person. I don't stop being a good person. Another woman says, I just came from Instagram. I pray you find the right one for you and that they care about your feelings and deserve you. Heart, I understand. Another female. Jonathan.
Stop right there, Great Pill. Stop right there. You see how they pretty much praying for him. Well, I pray, but notice how none of them say, "Oh, I will go on a date with you."
Facts.
You know why?
I was gonna say that. Facts.
Yeah, because women genuinely don't like quote unquote nice guys. Nice guys are looked as pushover, and when a woman see a nice guy, they see a guy, they be like, you know what? If we get into something in the street, most likely the robber gonna whoop your ass because you're a sucker. He might be a black belt for all I know, but if you a pushover, that's a turn off for a woman, fan. You need to have all that. You know what it is? Well, girls thought like all that flower and all that thing, all those things that these men be doing. That's a sign of desperation, bro. Listen, I'm about to come out with a chorus, man. I'm about to teach my man how to be wolves out here, man. This is bad out here, bro.
Listen, all those women that were like hitting him up in those comments, nan one of the women with his DMs. Nan one.
Yo, let me
Exactly.
let me read the last two from another one. Jessica, you make me wish I had a sister to set you up with. Please stay a wonderful gentleman, and your queen will come. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face. Another woman says, pray you find the person who God brings for you. And the last one from a female, dude, I am so sorry this happened to you. Exclamation point. Now I won't bore you with platitude, but I will say this: you are enough. Value you and your time. Heart.
He sound like he's that's what you tell big girls, right? Right. That's what you tell big girls, man. And that doesn't work for men. This dude, again, mommy told him you're perfect the way you are, and everyone gets a trophy. But he ran up against the real world, right? Once upon a time, I was in the Army, right? Y'all see that flag behind me? I was a paratrooper, right?
Thank you.
I knew what I was getting into. I did it for me. I knew exactly what I was getting into. Not only did I join the Army during wartime, I wanted to be airborne, right? And there was nothing that was going to stop me. I understood what my dad raised me right. He told me what I was getting into. There was no misconceptions. If my father had told me that I was great and everything is fine, and I'm like, one day I'm going to be a paratrooper, Dad, but I'm, 5'5" and 300 pounds, and I got diabetes, and you know what I mean, bad person. Like, bro, you ain't getting into the Army like that. But if people tell you like you're okay, you're fine, you can get in like that, you're gonna get wrecked. He has no idea what he's dealing with, and all these women saying all these things, dude. This was in the New York Post. Did y'all know that?
For real?
This was this is an article in the New York Post. I'll post it in the back chat. This was in the New York Post, bro. It's crazy.
So DL, he accomplished what he was looking for. I don't think that happens to him, but I'm very aware that happens to a lot of men. You see what I'm saying? That I'm pretty sure of that. I think he did that to go viral, and he accomplished what he wanted. That's what I believe. I might be wrong.
That's what I'm saying. I think it was a setup, and yeah, the comments might be like, "I'll pray for you. I hope you find somebody." You know that there's females that slid into his DMs. You know there are. They're like, "Oh, well, where in LA are you at?" You know what happened.
I don't think so, bro. Not in LA. They don't give a shit about you in LA. They'll take your soul and suck it right out. Not in a good way.
Yeah, the majority of them. There's people out there that did.
It just comes down to he's already built up a following. He already had a following ahead of time. Again, he's a comedian, right? And so this is the whole parasocial relationship thing. A lot of people can't understand it because they function like normal people. However, a lot of we'll say millennials and younger have that whole parasocial relationship thing at 11, and their relationships online are a substitute for real friendships, real support systems, and whatever. So when something devastating happens to them, the place that they know they can turn and get support and people on their side, people telling them it's not their fault and whatever, the kind of thing you need to get from your mama, your sisters, your friends, and whatever, they know they can get that from online, from their online support system, and that's why they do it. Right? Because if you look at his overall content, he built up his following not from this one video, so and not from anything like this. So it very much seems pretty realistic to me. He did this because it really happened to him.
How many followers or subs or whatever does he have? Do you know?
25K. I think it said. Hold on.
14,000.
Yeah, but
14.2.
Oh.
Yeah, but that should be enough. That should be enough, though. Like if you got that type of attention on that following, and you're comedian, and you got that following on that end, somebody should like reach out to you and like, hey, you seem nice. You would like to hang out. You did. Me personally, you didn't have to go that far. But if you did, I think you need to do a part two. Like, yo, this is a joke. But even then, that might kind of hit him. That still might hit him. That still might backlash.
Let me jump in there real quick. Let me jump in there real quick. I started my comedy career in LA. Like I said, almost 20 years ago. Right, I was air traffic controller during the day, and I was a comedian at night. Those worlds never bounced up against each other. Right, they were separate worlds. As a comedian, if you are a good comedian, I don't care what you look like, in LA, you smashing.
There you go.
Just Hollywood.
That's
just Hollywood. You don't have to have a game. You could be Tony Hinchcliffe. If y'all don't know who he is, look him up. Tony Hinchcliffe. Right? Now here's the thing. I knew him before he broke. A solid comedian. That dude was invisible until the day he wasn't. When they started doing those roast battles or whatever, and he started to come up, and then bam, it just hit one day. And you saw the change in his swag. He's still the same dude. Shout out to you. Hey, Hinchcliffe, man, no drama, but he know what time it is. That guy, like you said, if brother Harley here or Blanco or myself or anybody, if Wes jumps up on dude, he's with a girl, he running away. Right? He running away. He ain't trying to fight. He ain't built like that. Right? But he got women because it's LA and he's good at something. You feel me? So this guy, I said all that to say this. He may be a comedian, but he ain't good at it. Because ain't nobody will stand him up if he was a good comedian in LA.
I'll do you one better, DL. A few years back, I was putting on money to bring like special guests to the clubs, right? Um, I put the I put a $4,000 to bring. Do y'all remember Welby the Great?
I don't think so.
Remember
Say his
that guy,
name again?
Welby the Great?
Who?
He was retarded. Remember that guy that used to
Oh
scream
yeah,
like,
yes,
"Got
yes,
you,
yes,
Sunji."
yes, yes,
Who?
yes. This kid, that
Okay.
was the black kid came out the hood. Yes, y'all gotta look him up. This is a sad story.
Yes.
I do remember
It
that.
cost. It could. I put up $4,000 to make an appearance at the club, right? That's why it cost $4,000 plus the flights, plus the hotel room, right? I made some good money that night, right? So I gave it to the promoter, and I got 150% on my money back, right? I wasn't
Wow.
gonna go, but my one of my homies was like, "Yo, let's go, let's go." I'm like, "Fuck." I went to the club, bro. Welbin the Grey is a goddamn retard. This man left the club with two girls, bro. No one, two. Good looking too. This is how I know this is escape right here, bro. You cannot tell me that Welby the Grey, a retired guy, can leave the club. I don't know if he smashed or no. I don't know that part, but at least he left with him, right?
You don't know if they got on
You can tell me that
DJ?
that guy can like you can tell me that that guy get a couple of good-looking girls, and this guy right here is doing this skit like that. Like, come on, man, stop it, man. But like I say, forget if it's true or not. I know this that what he say happened to a lot of guys. I know that. I can just tell.
Yeah, but like this guy has
Now,
cerebral
Hold on one
palsy.
second. Hold on one
right?
second. Just to answer the question, because I think with me, Wes, I think DL had hit the link, I guess, and Ruby, we was looking at the comments. I didn't see any suggestions as offered, like what Poppy and most of those guys doing here, and Ruby. So I didn't see any suggestions. More a bunch of praying and giving, like,
There was one chick that was saying that she wanted to go out with him.
Yeah, I need to see
But
that.
it was probably clout chasing because
No,
she
again,
has
he
her own
has
channel.
cerebral palsy. This is the thing, right? Because people like skip all the like little details. I'm like the way I'm looking at the way he's standing and whatever. I'm like, this is coming off interesting. Like I have to look into more. And he has cerebral palsy.
Who?
Okay, so now you're in
The guy that got split
LA.
up.
You're overweight. You're walking around with a shiny gold backpack. You're dressed not necessarily like all that sharp. You don't even have like a sharp, clean cut, line up, like haircut, whatever. Like a lot of you seems like a little bit messy, and you've got cerebral palsy. And I'm like, oh my God, out of all the things in the world this guy should be doing, trying to date like the high class LA lifestyle is not it. Right? Like that is not what this guy should be doing. He should first of all be like trying to date online, trying to do a lot of the over the internet. You get to see people, you get to adjust to people, you explain, you find people who are okay with cerebral palsy because they've had it in their family or they
But
work
sis,
in
that's
that
what he
area.
did.
The
That's
thing
what
is,
he did, sis.
he's not hiding it.
No,
He was talking to a chick for 2 weeks.
Right. He talked to the chick for 2 weeks. Talking to a chick for 2 weeks is not this like 2 weeks of talking is not the same thing as dating on the internet.
Okay, but she knew that he had cerebral palsy. Do you think that he was lying about that?
Yeah, actually, I think a lot of people don't necessarily share that kind of information because they don't want to be written off because of that kind of information, which unfortunately, if it's something that's visible, well, see, that's what I'm saying, but he can walk. So it's not like he has cerebral palsy and it's to the point where he's in a wheelchair or he's got the canes or whatever, right? So I think, he probably would feel like, hey, I'm going to get written off as soon as I tell people I have this developmental
so you feel
disability.
like the chick showed up and took one look at it and be like, oh,
I do think that's what
happened
happened because it happens. No, I think that people do this all the time and it's unfortunate, but it's true. They show up, they see from a distance and they go, nope. No. I don't even want to be caught dead in public.
But sis,
that's what I think happened.
Let me throw this out for you guys real quick. LA is a different beast. All right. LA is a different beast. Do you guys know who Josh Blue is?
No.
Yeah.
He's the funniest comedian in America with cerebral palsy. He won Last Comic Standing. Josh got women lined up around the building.
Josh Blue's hilarious.
He's funny.
Clout and
He's
fame
funny.
and money, all worth it.
He's a great comedian. He beat my guy Ty Barnett. Ty Barnett, that's my brother. I was there, right? I'm watching the whole thing unfold as a young comic. And Josh Blue is still today. He's a headliner, legit. Shout out to him. But my point is, it does not matter in Hollywood if you got the stats, you got the credits. I don't care what you are. I mean, come on, the mini me, that mini me dude.
Mm-hmm.
He was climbing up dimes every night. You know, he's climbing up doing what he's doing. I'm trying to keep it nice. I don't want to, mess up your, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to mess you up, Grey Pill, and say some craziness right now that I'm thinking. But look, mini me was getting it on. So in LA, you can do that if you're good. I think this is authentic. I think the guy is just frustrated. He's in over his head in LA. I don't think he's very successful as a comic yet. And if he was good even a little bit, this bump should make him, you know what I mean, that guy in Hollywood right now. He should be able to get some time at the Ice House, at Flappers, at Comedy Store. I don't think he has the talent, and I think he's just frustrated because mommy told him everybody gets a trophy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I put in the back chat about old boy that brother.
Yes, I saw. I was just watching. I remember him by the face, so I remember him. But if he could, that's what I'm saying. If he, a type of person like him, can walk out the door with the chick, then this guy right here just going to a date.
No,
This
but
guy.
see, there's a difference because once you already have the fame and clout, right? You already have an awesome
Yeah, but
amount of
he looked,
leverage.
but because I remember him, he seemed like, because we talked about confidence, right? That's what you said. This dude looked like he had confidence.
With this one, no,
No, not the one we just showed. We talking about the one DL had mentioned earlier.
Okay, we're not talking about the guy that
no, that was no
confidence.
confidence.
This guy has zero confidence. There's no
Yeah.
part of him that thinks that he deserves anything, and I'm saying that because his lineup is trash, his hair is trash, his face is like everything that you can do to put yourself together to say I believe in myself. He didn't do.
I would like to say something.
Sure, Inky.
Everyone can have their own opinion, but he is disabled and he could very well possibly be mentally disabled. And so his expectations may be higher than what his expectations.
He's not mentally disabled, though.
We don't know that. We haven't done his
Yeah, he
IEP.
should be. Yeah, he could be.
Cerebral
he
palsy
very well.
is not.
No, cerebral palsy
Okay,
isn't.
can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead. Inky.
Just give me a couple of seconds. What I'm saying is we don't know. We didn't do an IEP on him. We haven't done a mental evaluation on him. We have no idea if he has a learning disability or anything, which would make it to where I could understand why he would become attached to her via over the phone so quickly. A lot of men these days, or in general, are typically more standoffish. So for him to be as emotional and as he is during this video would make sense. Is all I'm saying. Is he very well could have a mental disability, and so he doesn't know how to dress appropriately or whatever for the LA lifestyle. He's just trying to be average.
But sis, he is dressed appropriately for the bottom 80 in LA. He's dressed like it. I wouldn't know any of this stuff we're talking about, what he has and what he's afflicted with. The bad haircut, he probably smells bad. That's not because he has anything. That's just how most dudes are. Give me 15 minutes with homie. Give me 15 minutes with dude, right? And then let Brother Blanco come in and holler at him. We'll turn that man around. I'm not going to give him, and the fact that he's a stand-up comedian, he chose to do that. I'm sorry, you get no love from me. That's just that's a rough world. I'm part of that world.
DL. I ain't gonna lie, DL. If you talk to him, you got more patience than Poppy. Poppy tell him like one good time, he's done. Poppy's not gonna do a repeat.
Yo.
Poppy's not gonna hold hands.
I can make an argument that woman who stood him up she did him a favor.
Yeah.
She did him a favor because she could have just trained that man alone, get his little retired check, whatever social security check he might get, and get a debt. She did him a favor. You really think about it.
Well, no, you know what? I've actually showed up on dates, and this is why I know that women do it, right? I mean, it's a very common thing that people do this. That's why they named it ghosting, right? Like there's terminology for this because people do it all the time. But I've showed up on dates before, and I've walked up, and I'm like, wow, this is not what I was expecting. And I would never date you. I already know right here and now. I haven't even gotten anywhere near where you are. I can just see you sitting on the patio or whatever. And I'm like, wow, I would never date you ever.
But sis, I've done the same thing.
Let me finish.
Just real quick, waking up in the morning.
No, finish my point. I didn't make my point yet. And so instead of me just walking away, though, what I've done is I've gone in, I've sat down, I've been kind and polite and whatever. And then I've told them point blank, period. Okay. this is not a love connection, but I'm going to tell you things that you probably could do for next time. If you don't want to hear me, I'll shut up. I'll just go. But if you want to hear me, let's have a meal together, whatever. I'll explain to you what it is that put me off from jump, right? But as soon as I start explaining that to you, at this point, that makes us not peers, not in the dating process. We're like friends or maybe like mother son, and that dynamic's not going to work for us. But I don't mind being here and being honest with you and really letting you know, because you did great when it came to typing and us communicating back and forth and whatever. But your presentation, as soon as I saw you, I knew that this is not a love connection. And I've done that on more than one occasion, and it's actually been helpful, right? And I've had one guy who freaked out and didn't want to hear nothing about it. That's cool, no problem. But the ones that did want to hear something about it, they actually were able to take that information and say, oh shoot, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even know that was a problem. I didn't even whatever. And they actually did take that on. And one of them I know for sure actually found a wife, right? And it was a big, like, he actually reached out to me and said, like, thank you, because I never would have been able to get this before. So what I'm saying is, I don't think that this woman did him any kind of favor by just ghosting him, because then he's sitting there going, what did I do wrong? You know, have the balls to face him and tell him what he did wrong. That's what I think doing a favor is.
Yo, Ruby, baby, let me ask you this, and for the second lady, what's her name? The other lady?
Inky.
Inky. I got a question for both of you, right? Have you ever gone out with a man and you had zero chance? It was zero chance for you to sleep with that man. Not that night, but in the future. Have you went out with a man
that I had
and you knew you wasn't gonna give him nothing? Hold on, let me rephrase it better. Hold on 1 second. Let me rephrase it better. Have you been out with a man and you knew that no matter what this man did, you wasn't going to give him none at all? Have you done that?
Yes.
Well, like, have I gone on that date one and then there's obviously not a connection here? Yeah. That's why I let them know.
Yeah, that's what she was just saying. And that was going to be my point. And I'm glad that we let you finish.
I wouldn't sleep with a guy on the first date. No matter what he did, he could do backflips and hand me $1 million.
No, but like,
no. I wasn't talking about the first day. No. I wasn't saying sleep with him the first day. I wasn't saying that. I said, have you been out with a man before you took his proposition to go out? You knew that you wasn't going to sleep with this man the first, second, third, 10 days at all. You knew you wasn't going to sleep with him at all.
So what you're saying is, you mean that you knew from the beginning that he would be in the friend zone?
Yes.
When he asked you out.
Yes, because those are friends.
Okay.
Right, but did he know it wasn't a real date? Is I think kind of what he means.
I would always be upfront.
Right, and I think that's important, right? So to you clarify, like, as friends, did you want to go out like in a group? Because I only see you as a friend. That would be one thing. For me, generally, if I find that someone's asking me out on date, and to me, it's not from jump, I just know I can never see myself with you, I would just say no. Because again, like I said, to me, you can't then be friends because you see me in a way I can't see you. So I'd probably just say no from jump. But generally, it has more often than not, it's happened where someone asks me out, I say, yeah, sure. And then when I get there, you know, something within that date, you know, whether it's their initial presentation or the first 10-minute conversation or some opinion they have, that's what turns me off. And that's what puts me
but you can't go into it with that negative. See, a lot of times someone may not look okay, so sometimes you'll meet somebody and you'll have like a text conversation with them, and then you meet them in person and you're like, well, you know, they're not that attractive, and then you get to talking to them and you're like, oh, well, they have a good heart or this and that, whatever. And you might actually find yourself attracted to that person. Secondarily.
For me, it's not about attractiveness. I'm demisexual, so I don't even get sexually attracted to people.
Yeah, but why I get that? Yeah, why even drag it out? Because I get it. So why even drag that out? Like, I get the text part, but like for this guy, and I'm not trying to play on his look, because DL showed another guy by society standpoint look like wolf horrific versus this guy, but he was pulling the chicks, right? But with that being said, why would a certain woman or just women period get the vibe of, okay, I'm feeling the vibe of this guy in text message, DM, Facebook message, whatever, and then then you meet him. I get that part. You meet him, okay, it's not what I thought from the phone conversation and the communication, you know, versus face to face. Now I see face to face, how you look, how you move, right there, that should be the conversation. Not like, hey, let me give it another chance. Because if you wasn't feeling him, it was a different vibe. Why would a woman give him like the third time, like, let me go on another date? Because at that time, if he's paying and his attention is stretched out from the first given to you the first time of communication, now he might be paying for the meal. Because I know some women do this, and that's fair. But again, we living in today's society. It's not that many people like, look, first date we go halvesies, or I'll just go ahead and got my money right here and have that conversation. A lot of women don't do that. But 9 times out, generally guys think on the first date they automatically paying for the meal, all 100%. So if that woman know that it's not working out, pick a spot that's very casual, maybe a coffee, maybe a picnic, something that nobody really have to go out their way of their pocket, especially the guy. And then if it's not working out, like, look, tell him then, but don't wait another date with this guy because it become problematic.
Yeah.
I disagree. I disagree with that great pill.
I guess it depends on where you're from, your location. So like if you're from a country environment versus a city environment, I mean, it kind of goes back to that old fashioned, learning somebody. You're not sleeping with them. You're just friends with them. And how are you supposed to build a rapport with somebody if you don't hang out with that person?
Parks is everywhere. Parks is everywhere.
Oh, I didn't say he had to go out and buy her a huge dinner. He could have taken her out to coffee. But and not only that,
I disagree with that.
I don't know if anybody else.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, baby.
Like he was in a bar. It didn't sound like he was in a nice restaurant. So I wouldn't want to go hang out at a bar where it's loud, you can't talk. I mean, the ambiance for that date I thought was a little weird, but I would have said coffee for the first time they're hanging out.
Well, and again, when he said, not to interrupt, but when he's like, oh yeah, let's meet here at the bar, she could have said, no, let's go somewhere else.
No, he chose that because of her interest. So basically, this is what the article said, the one that was posted in the back chat, is that he chose based on her interests, as in she's wanted to go here. That's why he chose.
You should never do that as a guy. You should plan a date based on what you want to do, not what she wants to do. Again, that's he needs to learn.
Yeah, for instance, if it didn't work out, then he could have still went and had fun.
Yep.
Let me ask something to the guy. Do you have like a limit how much money y'all waste on a date? Is that what you
really want to know my answer? You really want to know my answer?
I'm asking.
Home.
Well, you talking? Are you asking the guys? I'm $100. I'm $100. I ain't going.
Yeah, you $100. What about you, DL?
I don't have a limit. My thing is this: we're talking about a first date. I'm not.
Nah, man. Give a number. He got. Give him a number. Let probably
first date.
This one.
$30. First date, $30. It ain't gonna be more than that. We're gonna go get a smoothie. If we're in LA, we're gonna go to Jamba Juice or a coffee or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Well, what about you, Wes? You got a limit?
I'm not trying to make a grand commitment there. I usually don't. It depends on how I feel with the girl. If I feel strongly, I'll take her out for dinner. We'll get something nice. Maybe top it out at like 80. It just depends on what's going on. Usually, though, I'm thinking maybe coffee or like DL said, something simple, something I can escape from easily because a lot of them are crazy.
I'd say go Dutch because then you don't feel obligated.
so that's the weird thing.
No,
that is a very weird thing. So
don't ever do that, guys.
We got to hear Harley. We got to hear Harley. Harley
go ahead, Harley Dad.
Oh, so, yeah. My limit on first dates back when I was dating would be $100, unless the date's going really well and there's, we did dinner. Well, let's go do a movie because we're having a good time, or let's go play mini. Whatever. It's $100 was my set. I'm not spending any more than this until the date's going well, and it may proceed to doing other stuff.
Right. So, for the guys that got limits, right? This is funny. This is real funny. So let's say the day's real good. She's feeling you, you feeling her, and hunger drop a bomb on you. I don't want to go home. I want to spend the night with you. Let's get a hotel. So you're already at 80. So what that means? The day's over. You don't get a hotel. You go home.
Poppy, can I tell you a secret?
Hotel for you? Just take her home.
Can I tell you a secret, Poppy? I don't know about Ruby, but if there's gonna be any fooling around, don't feed me. I'm gonna feel bloated. I ain't gonna want to do nothing.
Breasts, garlic and onion breasts now.
The reason I ask because I don't have a limit. I don't have a limit on day because usually usually when I take a girl out, I usually been talking to her for like. Usually when I take a girl out, I've already been talking to her for 3 weeks, 3
For
weeks
a
to a
long
month.
time,
I'm
for a
already
long
marinated.
time. Yeah.
I'm already marinated. I'm already marinating the pum pum real quick, right? So at the time we are the day, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna drink, eat, whatever, right?
Mhm.
And usually, I take. I mean, not usually, all the time. Wherever we go is the place that I pick. You see what I'm saying? I love me a steak. I love me. I can go to a steakhouse, or I can go to the Mama and Pop's joint, Puerto Rican food, Cuban food, whatever I might be feeling that day. You see what I'm saying? The problem with men is they let these women pick whatever they want to go. No, bro, it's about you. You paying? It's about you. Why you? I'm not gonna go out. I'm not gonna break my habit to go to a girl. To go out with a girl to go to a coffee place. I don't even like coffee. And how long a goddamn coffee day lasts anyway? What can you do at
Well,
coffee? Like most people over there quietly working.
other things besides coffee, but I have one question though, Poppy. Are you married?
A coffee date gives you an easy out.
Hell no, I ain't married, man. That sounds terrible in my ears.
I mean, no offense, but I figured honestly. I mean,
I just
I mean, no offense at all. That's just what I figured. I mean, no offense at all. I'm just saying, but I do understand.
I'm a lover, man.
If you're paying and you're going to go someplace that you want to go, because if it doesn't work out with her, you could still have a good time and do what you want to do, kind of. And that makes total sense. It really does. But yeah,
I know these women coming to the social media. One more thing. I know women coming to social media telling you all this, or telling you all this all this bull crap, whatever, right? But let me tell you something. Women love to be told what to do, fam. Okay? Don't let this social media fool you. Talk about, no man can tell me what to do. If it is a guy that they like, they love to be told what to do. Ruby knows she loves to be told what to do by her husband, and my girl Inky, she loves to be told whatever guy she with, man. They're gonna sit over here and tell you no, but trust me, they love to be told what to do, fam.
That
ignorance is bliss.
Only for Poppy.
That's hilarious.
I think Poppy's on point there.
Yeah, and Blanco,
I would never let a man boss me around. I just want to
I think you're phrasing that incorrectly, and this is part.
I think Poppy's on point.
No, I think it's being phrased incorrectly. So, and again, it's something that I kind of said multiple times throughout this stream, though, right? Women like a man who commands, right?
Yes.
Not demands, but commands. Right?
Isn't that the same thing Poppy's saying?
No, because
for real. No, it is.
It is the same thing.
No, they got to earn that respect. They got to earn the respect
right.
of the woman to want to submit to the man, not to be demanding to be submitted to.
Exactly. So when a man who's demanding is the one, a man who's demanding.
He says, "This is what we're doing," then you do it.
The man who's demanding is the one who's telling you what to do and telling you this and telling you that, and that's in trying to boss you around. That's demanding. Okay,
that becomes domestic violence and control.
Right.
My channel's all about
what? I guarantee you, every man on this panel has heard this logic from a woman and then later did what she was told.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Right.
That's probably why I was beat.
There you go. I mean, at the end of the day, here's the thing. A man who commands respect, right, and commands, right, he's not sitting there trying to boss around, tell her what to do, and then, because I said so, bitch. That's not actually what a man who actually is commanding respect and commanding, right, his internal man is commanding that respect from an internal woman. He's not sitting there bossing around, telling her what to do, because he wouldn't want a little doormat who's just gonna
Ruby.
Okay,
Ruby,
amen, Ruby, amen.
That's not what it is.
That is not what Poppy said.
Ruby and Inky. Oh, listen, you saying the same thing I'm saying. You just saying in beautiful, cute little words.
No,
you saying the same exact thing.
No, you said you want a woman. Poppy, you specifically just said a woman wants a man to tell her what to do.
What to do?
No.
No.
Yes.
I was in a domestic violence relationship. A man start bossing me around.
That ain't got nothing to do with domestic, baby. We're not talking about that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, we're not talking about that. Look.
Any man that wants to try to control or dominate the female that's abuse.
No,
you want her to.
Leadership is not telling a woman what to do. Like you're conflating.
Start right there. Start right there, Ruby. Start right there, Ruby. Start right there. What leadership is? What leadership is?
Leadership is being able to
Control.
No, see,
Control.
that's the
I
problem.
I
And this
cannot
is the problem. A
control.
lot of people have no idea what leadership is, and that is actually an issue. In fact, most people
it's
who
setting
are
an
leaders,
example.
they're excellent leaders because they are excellent followers. And so most leaders, again, they're not demanding, right? They're
Gray
commanding
Pill's
because
marking
they're
off
able
check
to
marks
look
over
at
there.
all of the little pieces. Okay, they're able to look
Inky,
at the whole
bad.
landscape in
Inky,
front of
check
them,
mark bad.
and they're able
Nah, you're
to
good.
organize that information. So you're trusting their leadership.
We
You're
got it.
trusting their decision. You're
Is
trusting
this?
their
We got an
opinion.
army guy. We got an army guy. We got a guy.
Ordered around what to
I'm
do.
sorry.
It's not the same thing. It's just
We
categorically
got an
not.
army guy in here. We got an army guy in here, and he can
You got three.
back me up on this one.
You got three.
Control and leadership is the same thing on the relationship. Okay.
It is not.
Army. DL. You in the army, right? What control and leadership is?
Hold on. DL served, West served, and Harley Dad served.
Who?
Harley Dad.
Everybody's army. What branch?
I was prior
I didn't,
Marine.
sir.
I'm in the.
I'm sorry.
I'm in
I saw security and whatever. I apologize.
National Guard now.
I was the Army brat, but I didn't serve.
Army, but that's cool. But all right, here's the thing. Here's the deal.
I was married to the
Yes.
military.
Yes.
Army brat.
When you're talking about military, you're talking about leadership. Leadership is control. Now there are different leadership styles. The leadership is control. If you're on my team,
seven style.
there are tons of leadership styles, but leadership is control. At the end of the day, the United States Army. I don't care what style they were. But let me. But
You want to
just
run
leave it-
your family and your wife like it's the army, and she's one of your subordinates. That's some bullshit. You're not going to be successful.
My daughter does. My daughter does exactly what I tell her to do. Now,
But that's your child.
Right.
Okay.
Women are not children.
But here we go. Like now we're getting into the semantics. But to answer the question,
It's how you say it.
Semantics?
It's how you say it.
My kids better listen to me. I'm their mother.
They don't have to, and there are a lot of children who
When
don't.
they're
They get
adults,
themselves
yeah.
in trouble. No. As kids, there are a lot of children. That's a whole other conversation. But leadership is control. The United States Army pumped me up with drugs, right? The United States Army pumped me up with drugs in wartime. I didn't want to take those drugs. They pumped me up with drugs. I had no choice. There was a man there who refused to do it, and he was taken under arms. Under arms mean they put a gun on him and took him into the tent, and they pumped him up with those. That's leadership now. Okay, now.
You calling that leadership?
It had to be done. That's leadership.
That's not leadership.
That had to be done. But
Sorry,
all I'm saying,
I guess we disagree on the definition then.
But there are different leadership styles. And I hear what you guys are saying about about people who want to submit. And, but dictatorship is a form of leadership. You know what I mean? I don't agree with it, but it's a
tyranny.
form.
It's not a form of leadership. Leadership,
It's-
by definition,
When-
a leader is leading, as in you have a choice, right? And so you are choosing to follow. You're choosing to get on. I'm choosing to get on your train. I'm choosing to go along with your plan.
I chose to raise my right hand
because I'm
and
choosing
support.
the wisdom of that plan in this moment and every moment thereafter.
Love,
I'm making a
but hear me
choice.
out,
That is
love,
not the
love.
same thing as a dictatorship where I don't get a choice. That is
Love.
not leadership.
I chose to raise my right hand and to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that meant that they were going to pump me up with drugs when I was ordered to do so. That's leadership is control. Now, I agree with you. Ain't gotta like it. Right? You ain't gotta like it, but that's what it is. And we have a lot of freedoms here in this country. Where did those freedoms come from? It came from that style of leadership. You're gonna get this done. Now that I'm a civilian, I'm out of the military. I run my family. I do not run my family like a dictator, right? My leadership style is different. However, when it comes to something that must get done, I'm going to see to it. And then it's like, you will do this. Now, you don't have to choose me if you don't want that. You know what I mean? So, but I have to just keep it 100. The whole, everything we have in this country and all our freedoms we have here comes from a very strict version of leadership, right? And it could be very ugly at times. It could be it's a very beautiful thing. I love serving. I love being airborne. I love those missions I went on. All the medals that I wore on my chest, I earned every one of them. And I'm proud of it. But I'm not going to lie to you. Oftentimes, I wonder, what exactly did they pump into my body that's coursing through my veins right now when I was over there in Operation Desert
Gamma
Storm?
radiation. You're going to be the Hulk.
Hey, could it be I might become the Hulk? You know what I
There's
mean?
a lot of different things, yeah, because they're just experimenting. Right? You've basically given up your body.
At the end of the
it wasn't
day,
your leaders. It wasn't your leaders and the people that were, actually commanding you. If those people didn't make that decision, right? And I think this is where again it comes down to, well, no, the people who were commanding you and saying you must do this, right? They were just following orders. Who were just following orders. Who were just following orders. Because at the end of the day, right, the person who decided that you must have your body pumped full of drugs while they, in essence, experiment on you, and you willingly just take that experiment in kind, those people had nothing to do with you. You never talked to those people. Those people never told you anything, right? And so I think that it's being conflated again between you signed up for this, and part of that had to do with letting go of a whole bunch of autonomy and self-control, because if whatever they want to do to you, you have to allow it because you've given away your freedom, in a lot of ways. That is a very different situation than signing up willingly for two people to be in any type of partnership together, whether it be business or a marriage. It's just a very different.
At the end of the day, girl, when you sign up to be with a man and you made this is your husband or boyfriend for 5, 10 years, that man gonna lead you, aka control you.
He does not.
He gonna kind of save you from yourself. Listen,
because
I know it's different words, but
if you have to be saved by yourself as a grown ass woman, you are not ready to be someone's wife. Period. Point blank.
I'm not talking. I'm talking in general. Like having a man. But listen. What is so bad about a man saying that he control his wife or he lead his wife? Don't the man is the head of the household?
Yeah, but again, being at the head of the household or being a leader is not having control and dominion over the people in your household or over the other grown-ass person who lives inside your household.
I agree.
Definition, submission, and leadership are things that you are doing by choice. I submit to my husband every day by choice. I am making a choice. And likewise, he respects me. So even when we're making a decision, right, I submit to his leadership. That means he has the final say, but he respects me. So he wants my input. I give him my input. I give him what I think.
That's fine.
Right? And he's
Ruby,
no. See,
that's fine.
There is a difference between that and small children. Because guess what? No one cares what small children have to say, because I'm just going to tell you what you're doing, and you're just going to do it because you're a child. I'm a grown-ass woman. And if you marry a woman to basically just be one of your children, you're doing marriage wrong. Sorry, but you really are.
So saying it, listen, at the end of the day, you end up in the same conclusion as me. You're going to do what the man tell you to do. It's that simple.
No.
Whether he say you work, okay, all right, you got it then. You got it.
All right, on that note.
What you're missing is the element of choice. I would never submit to a man who thinks that I should be subservient to him and he should have dominion over me. I never would submit to that. I would never choose willingly to be in that type of relationship. And should my husband turn around tomorrow and decide to be that kind of man, I would extricate myself from that situation.
Yeah, but I will find I will use beautiful words to make you do what I want you to do. It's that simple.
Manipulation.
Hi, baby. I got skills.
Easily manipulated.
I got skills.
Okay.
Go ahead, Harley, Wes, and Inky. Then we'll get final thoughts and close it out. Go ahead, Harley.
Oh,
one more thing. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Just say I totally agree with her because, being someone that's been married for 13 years, like, yeah, I'm the alpha of the house, but we make decisions together. I go to her, something happens. I go to her, hey, what do you think about this? Okay, that's cool. And I can, say, well, whatever, you don't know what you're talking about, so I'll take care of it. Yeah, I can do that. I've done that. But it's a 50-50. It's a give and take. There is no, in a real relationship, at least in my opinion, there is no, I'm the leader, you will do whatever the fuck I say. Pardon my language. In a real relationship, that doesn't happen. Because if she comes to me right now and says, hey, I'm going to go hang out with the girls, I'm like, what do you mean? It's 10 o'clock at night. You're not going anywhere. She's going to tell me piss off and she's going to go anyway. I don't control her. I'm not in control of her. I am the head of the household. I am the alpha. I am the protector, and that's my job. But if you're just have the mindset that everything I say goes, that's not a healthy relationship. Your woman's not going to like that. Eventually, it's going to lead to problems. Whether it's her just leaving you or y'all getting in a big ass fight and then cops, it's going to cause problems if you have the mindset, in my opinion, that I am the be all end all. You will do whatever I say whenever I want. That is not a relationship.
All right, Wes. Wes, you have something to say, and then we're gonna give final thoughts. I'm waiting for Inky to come back in. She give her final thoughts on the video.
So
But I'm low key. I want to capitalize this. I think this sound like a 2-on-2 debate because Ruby and Harley seem like they're on one side of the fence, but DL and Poppy's pretty much agree with each other on the other end. So that part. All right. Well, we'll plan that. Wes, any thoughts?
the times that I have been the most successful at dating is when I just tell women what to do and I kind of don't care about what they have to say. There's a lot of women, they just really crave that. They really like that. But
thank you.
This is not how I choose to be. I have 2 daughters. I'm looking to attract something different. And I find that it's actually very hard to find a woman that wants to be treated nice, that wants to, that actually responds favorably to that. And I don't know if that's obviously it's a modern problem. Not completely sure where it's coming from or an amalgamation of problems, but it is hard to find a woman that has that much awareness of herself to where she does not respond to negativity, but one way or another, she's still wanting to be led.
All right, Harley, you had your hand up. We had the church.
Well,
hand
I
up.
was just going to say before he finished his point, because he said, he did the dating thing where he told women what to do, and I was just going to ask, how did those relationships turn out? But he obviously turned out, he answered my question before I asked it. So.
All right, well, we'll go give final thoughts. I ain't gonna lie, that kind of, I'm gonna say it moved the goalpost, but it led it to something new. So I guess if y'all want to stay a little bit back and we can set up a time and schedule this week or the next current week on like a 2-on-2 discussion about that might sound interesting. Yeah, it sounds like some good fresh blood with DL, with teaming up with Poppy Blanco, with Ruby and Harley. Yeah, so final thoughts on Ruby on the last video with the guy got stood up, dumped, or whatever you want to call it, because that was, to me, it was sad, but it happens.
I mean, I think that's the thing. I think it is sad. I think that the red pill / manosphere space, if we go back about 7 years ago, used to be helpful to guys like that. And I mean, actually helpful, because it used to deal with reality as it was. Okay. And the reality as it was, not how it should be. These modern women should change. And no, it just said, hey, listen, if you don't go out there with the fresh lineup and with the this and with the that, if you don't go out there with your proper clothing, proper whatever, and hold yourself in a certain way and whatever, then you're going to get blown off. You're not going to get to beg women, let alone the kind of women you want. Right. And so if you want the kind of women you want, here are the things that, you need to do. And it's really sad to look at, for example, in the black pill space now, you see looks maxing. And I'm not going to go into trans maxing. I'm just talking about looks maxing for a second. So let's look at looks maxing. What is sad about looks maxing is that in looks maxing, there's a whole bunch of things that should not be a discussion. Brushing your teeth, flossing, washing your face, moisturizing, washing your ass, using deodorant, right? Using lotion. I'm not even kidding. The list of these things that you can do to change yourself in looks max, so many of them are to me just like basics. This is really basic.
Basic grown-up stuff.
Yeah, but no one ever
told.
I
just looked it up. It's called taking a bath.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, right? Now, well, here's the sad part about it, though. Here's the sad part is that you see guys in the comment section of, say, Wheat Waffles and whatever who do these videos saying, hey, guys, like, listen, it's not going to bump you up 10 points. But if you do this all collected together, it's going to bump you up a couple points. And it's going to, more importantly, it's not going to make you lose points when women figure out you have bad breath or da-da-da and suddenly are totally don't want to be around you, right? And these guys will be like, why should I have to wash my ass just to get a woman? Why should I have to? No, bro, you should brush your tongue and floss and stuff because it's disgusting for you not to, right? Like, it's just like this idea that, now I'm not saying that this last guy is disgusting. What I'm saying, though, is that, there should be some basics levels of, hey, just as a man, this is how you groom yourself properly. Here's how you take care of your skin.
Well,
your
maybe
hair,
the guy in the date did groom himself. He looked like he had a nice shirt on. He brought some nice smelling roses. So again,
he did not. No, he put in an effort, but that's not the same thing as properly grooming yourself and knowing what you're supposed to do.
You need to message him and state to him your standards.
No, it's not about my standards, right? It's about literally, like, for example, if you are black, you know that you don't go out with a jacked up lineup like that. Where your whole line, your line is like this, okay? Your line is like this, and you cool with your line like this. and you got no line here. Like, no, there's just certain things that you should know to do when you're gonna go on a date. You got
I
a
really
fresh
think you're
lineup, right? You
overthinking
got a
this one.
fresh trim. I'm really not. And this is the thing. The fact that you think I'm overthinking it, you're doing the same thing to me right now that these dudes do to like wheat waffles and these black pillars who are trying to say, hey, wash your ass, use deodorant, brush your teeth. Right? And they're saying, why should I have to? I shouldn't have to change myself to get a woman.
I definitely tell people that
literally.
I definitely tell people they need to brush their teeth and stuff. But there's levels, like good hygiene. But you seem to be overdoing it because he didn't go out there with a t-shirt or a really screwed up shirt. It's just the shirt he worn is not meeting your standards.
No, it's not about my standards. It's about the backpack he had on over that shirt that didn't seem to be fitting him very well. It wasn't definitely not doing anything to complement his body. And so it was making him look
hater.
It made him look dumpy. And the problem is that he's overall, he's a decent looking guy with some actual tips for him to put himself together better than he did. He would actually come off as a much better looking guy. But
Ruby, can you please hit up? I swear to you, can you please hit his comment?
Women do the same thing. And here's a problem. Women do the
Ruby,
same
his
thing. They
comments
put
are
themselves
up.
into clothes that are too small or that don't complement their body shape. And then they end up looking fat and dumpy and unattractive with little boobs. And they could look way better if you just put on clothes that fit your body type better and the color suits your skin better and whatever. Like, these are just like basics. And I understand, hey, listen, if y'all don't care, then don't. But at the end of the day, most people don't seem to realize that, hey, these little things matter. And that 7 to 10 seconds that people make a snap judgment about you, all of that is surface appearance. All that is surface appearance. So you could wear the exact same type of clothing, but just better tailored, better color for you, better cut for your body type, right? And just overall, oh, you like your hair curly? Great, get a proper lineup. Oh, you want the messy, dirty, kind of like 5 o'clock shadow? Great, do that, but just make sure it's lined up because that makes all the difference. And it does overall make you look more polished and it makes you look more presentable. And if you want to laugh at that or poo-poo that, that's cool. It's no problem. But the truth is that it actually makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference.
You need to come back and watch yourself as you're talking about this. You're going way over the top there.
Yeah.
I'm really not. It's just the way women.
Yo, Ruby, I need you, Ruby. Ruby, I want you to come to my next live stream.
When is your next live? Do you even go live anymore? Last time I checked, you've been
live.
I want you to come to my next live stream.
When is it?
You coming?
Well, it depends on when it is. Like, you want me just to agree?
On Friday. On Friday.
At what time?
Like at 5 afternoon.
Okay, if it's like later, then yeah.
Yeah, late. It's late.
Yeah, if it's later,
you see, I just told you what to do and you easily comply. You see, yeah, we got this in the bag, bro. Yeah, we got this in the bag. Yeah, we got this in the bag, nigga. We got this in the bag.
No. I knew where you were going.
Okay, you have some skill.
Yes.
I knew where you were going, and you did not tell her. You said, "I want you to."
Yeah,
that's a suggestion.
You asked me a question, and then I asked you, "Well, when is it?" And then you said Friday. I said, "What time?" You said afternoon. I said, "Well."
Hey, Ruby, you know I love you, baby.
No, but see, that's
I knew
the thing.
exactly.
You know I love you.
That's the thing. Did you notice that you actually asked me questions, and then then we negotiated just there, and then we came to a
Hey, Ruby,
which is we're both available.
Ruby, you know I love you.
Negotiation there. He gave you time and place, and he
Can we
said
get
yes.
his link in the chat? Can we get Poppy's link in the chat?
Hey, Ruby, you know I love you. I got a little thing for you, baby. My Caribbean girl.
Yeah, I know you do, but you're still not paying attention to the fact that you didn't tell me what to do. This was two people
Hey,
negotiating.
I have you watch you what I wanted.
That was a nice setup. DL, your thoughts, man?
Second he started talking, I knew.
Blanca won that one.
All right, here we go. I mean, there's a lot that Sister Ruby said that I agree with, right?
Be
real
very
talk,
careful with your words, or she might interject. We're doing fun.
But no, there's a lot that I agree with. And we also agree that the sun is hot, so we're good. That's two things we're on. But here's the thing: today's man is truly lost. So when you talk about the RP world, you talk about the manosphere, the mano swamp, whatever you want to call it. It's needed. It's absolutely needed. That video, that dude. I'm just making up numbers here, but that guy in that video is representative of at least 75% of the dudes out there right now. There are dudes out there getting wrecked. They're getting wrecked left, right, and center. What Sister Ruby is saying is facts. There's dudes out here that You got to tell them to wash their butt for real. You got to teach them about colognes. You got to teach them about clothes. You know, people was talking about, oh, he got like a TJ Maxx shirt or whatever they were saying. I don't care where you buy the shirt from. It don't cost you but a couple extra dollars to go get it, you know, tailored. Go get that suit tailored up a little bit. You know, Sister Ruby's right. Have your hair right. If your haircut, like, dude should just go ahead and shave his head like mine. You know what I mean? Until it grows back and start over because his lineup was messed up. Right? There are dudes that don't understand these things about dating, and they are out there looking for answers. Brother Blanco, you were saying, why do these guys go out and they spend all this money, and why do they do what they're doing? Because they believe in a Disney fairy tale. They want to be the knight in shining armor. I would argue that men believe harder in that Disney fairy tale than women do. I would argue that men fall harder for women, you know, than women do. We see it all the time. The passport bros, right? A bunch of people who discovered their passport. Hilarious, right? Hilarious. Bruh. They go off to whatever country, you name a country, and they talking big. I'm gonna go over here and smash. I'm gonna have me 3 ways. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get that. I'm going to pay. They know right off rip they're gonna pay. And what do? They get the first woman, fall in love, and don't even smash. They don't even smash. Why do these things happen?
But DL, you know what's going on, DL? Women is raising them. That's the problem. Women is raising them to be the same guy that they don't even want. That's the problem. Because since you little, right? What your mama always told you? Oh, be nice to the woman and bring her flowers and write her a poem and tell her she's beautiful 75 times. Most women don't like that shit, bro.
No, that's little girls.
Women is raising them.
And there's truth in that as well. But my thing is, right now today, we're talking about today's man. There is a vacuum of leadership. Brother Blanco is right. They're not being taught any men's skills. It's to me, it's second nature. It is what it is. Yeah, my mom told me, yeah, to know, like, be nice to girls or whatever. But she also told me to stay on my ground, stay on my square. And she was like, if you can't beat him, pick up something, knock his head off with it. I mean, that's just the way certain people were raised certain ways. So I hear what you're saying, but right now, and you know, like, I'm former military. I like to deal with the situation on the ground as it is today, not how it used to be, nor how it should be. I'm looking at the situation on the ground today. Men are getting wrecked by women simply because these guys don't know any better. That's it. And if we start to fix these things, this manosphere space, man, that's like a multi-million going on to be in a multi-billion-dollar industry. Look at just Pearly Things. Look at Fresh and Fit. Look at Rich Cooper, right? Look at these people out here getting paid. Everybody is running these dudes' pockets. These women are running their pockets when they go out here and go off to, you know, the passport bros, or these dudes go out like the guy in the video. That woman could have ran his pockets, and she probably did. He probably sent her some cash apps, right? So, and then there are dudes out there, these coaches, these guys are like, well, let me teach you game and let me teach you all this. They running their pockets too. No one's really trying to help these men, and that's the shame. And there are some guys out there who are really trying to help. Rich Cooper, Unplugged Alpha, great book. Go read that book, and that'll help a lot of men. You know, Rational Male, a lot of dudes like that book. People don't like it. Even that book that Myron Gaines wrote, Women Deserve Less, and people go crazy about that title. But when you read the book, you see what he's talking about. Aaron Clary wrote a really good book about bachelor pad.
You know how I get triggered over that, man. You really plugging in Myron Gaines book over here.
Hey, listen. You gotta read it. You gotta read it. Get it. You can read it first and then come back.
I watched somebody read it and I didn't like it.
No. You gotta read it and come back and holler at me. But the last book I would want to plug, and this is something that dudes really need to understand. Aaron Clary, he has this book called Bachelor Pad Economics, and and there's another one called the Cost of Dating or something like that. I forget the name of it. But he talks about how much money the average man spends in his lifetime pursuing women. Right, that book right there. Yeah, it's a great book. I got it behind me. I'm sorry, I forgot the title. I might be like $8.
Harder at just
oh, how much?
No. I'm talking about how much was the amount of money that the men spent. Like, give me. Like,
I'm gonna grab the book and give you the exact number. I don't want to quote the wrong number, but bro, it's a lot of money. So I'm by the time, because everybody still got to get their last thought. So I'm gonna grab the book real quick. But my point is this: men need to learn these things so they can go out and they can pursue their sexual strategy. That's the bottom line. At the end of the day, if men don't learn these things, they're going to continue to get hurt, and then they're going to lash out in all sorts of vicious ways, right? These incels are a real problem. You know what I mean? that the most dangerous dude is that dude out there who's lonely. Guys don't have friends anymore. People are living in these fake worlds. VR is taking over. People don't go outside. This is why I'm in this space. This is why I'm talking to these dudes. I want to be the voice of reason. I'm the old dude that did all that stuff, right? And I'm trying to tell these young guys, bro, don't take it personal. It's the game. And you are responsible for learning how to deal with this game. You are. But I don't want to play. You got to play. You born into this game, and you're going to be in this game until you die. That is just the way things are. That's the game of life. So I'll just leave it there. I'm going to find that book for you.
So I have one question on that book, though, real quick, before you do. Does it say how many people were polled to get these numbers that you're going to pull out? Like
he puts all of his stats on there. Aaron Clary is like a numbers dude. He's like a numbers nerd. He's been like blogging and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, he cites his sources in his book. It's right behind me.
Yeah, Poppy's.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering, because like if you ask 10 people or 1,000 people, I was just wondering.
It's in here somewhere, and it's called the Book of Numbers. It's called the Book of Numbers. And this is Aaron Clary.
Like a silhouette of a butt naked chick on the book, but it's all good.
How's you gonna sell it, bro? You gotta sell it.
Fair enough, man. Wes, your final thoughts, sir, on the video at hand, and all that good stuff.
I thought I gave my final thoughts. We just keep going round and round.
I'm blaming Poppy, but it's all good. He gave some insight. Harley Dad.
My final thoughts on that actual, it's always your fault, Poppy. Be quiet for a minute. No, I'm just kidding. My final thoughts on that video is I think it's 100% set up to get noticed, to get viral. Go with what, 74,000 likes on it or comments or whatever. I think it was a full setup just to get noticed. He's trying to do his comedy thing. He's got 14,000 subs or whatever, and so it's kind of working, but he's not where he thinks he should be. So I think he did it as a PR stunt, basically. That's what I think.
All right, fair enough. Poppy Blanco, final thoughts.
And Poppy, before you go, Aaron Clary states that he says from age 18 to age 78, the average man can expect to shell out in explicit cash expenses $260,785 in pursuit of a long-term relationship.
How much was that?
Damn, what are y'all doing wrong?
$260,785, and that's from age 18 to 78.
And
Now,
out of how many was in the control?
No. All that's stated in here. I don't want to take over and do all that, but I mean,
most likely thousands.
He running research are right here. It's like it's tons and tons of. I mean, it's really
in order for the men to come up with that number, it probably was thousands.
No, the reason I'm asking is because I'm looking at a control that was done with over 2,000 Americans. Found on average, they spend $121,082.40 on dating in a lifetime.
Yeah, and that number is going to fluctuate. I would argue that number is going up as because technology is making things more expensive.
So when was that book published?
This book was published
$186.17 a month.
That's a condo.
Wow. This was copyright 2020 by Aaron Clary. So yeah, I think it just came out in 2020.
All right.
Harley Dad, final thoughts on. Well, you said you thought it was a scam.
Yeah, I think it's PR.
Okay, fair enough. Poppy Blanco, final thoughts, sir.
Final thoughts, man. I thought that number was going to be higher, to be honest with you. I told you it was going to tell me about 300,000 stuff like that. That's what
that was an average.
Hey, see how this is your fault right now? What's your final thought, sir?
That's not my fault. I'm making final thoughts, man. Hey, I know my man DL say read books and everything, but once a man reach a certain age, bro, I don't think there's no saving these guys at all, bro. That's something that gotta be in you, bro. Can you get a pointer or two? I think you gotta learn how to deal with these women in real life, bro, as you grow on from teenage all the way. I think the oldest a man can actually be held by these books that you talk about, you have to be like 23. That's what I believe. That's me. Once you pass 25, you are lost cause. I'm sorry, man. You just JC say, man, you can buy all the class in the world, man. You cannot buy class. You can have all the money in the world. You cannot buy class, man. It's all right. I think the internet have made a disservice to men, especially when it comes to relationship with women, because these now it's gone down. It's gone down to just sending DMs nowadays. You ain't gonna learn nothing by sending DMs, bro. And like I said earlier, the best way for you to learn how to deal with women is catching L's. Bro, don't be afraid to catch an L, man. You see what I'm saying? From there you learn. You catch 2, 3 L's, fam. You be sharp out here, family. You see what I'm saying? And you will get yourself a Ruby later on, man. You tell her what to do, and the Inky too.
But brother Blanco, mommy said I can get it. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets a dime. What do you mean taking L's?
That's good, man. Y'all too. Y'all are killing.
Yeah, I don't even that word. Listen, my kids. Hold on. Let me answer that. My kids, I don't play those. I got my oldest. She came in 4th place. They gave her a little stupid ass medal, man. I throw that shit away. Like, nah, man, we play for over here for first over here, fam. And she's a girl. I don't play with that participation stuff, bro. I don't. If you in first, what was my man say on that movie?
If you ain't
first, what was my man on that movie? If you're in first, you last. That's what I live by.
I'll give him first, second, and third. Gold, silver, or bronze. I give him that. But beyond that, nah, bro. Nah, no love. Throw that away.
All right, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Inky, your final thoughts on the date, the last video overall? And you could chime in anything else since everybody's long stroking.
I think I've said pretty much everything.
Okay.
I feel sorry for the guy because I think he has a mental disorder. But that's just my opinion. It could have been a ruse. Yes, most definitely. But he could also just be a sensitive kind of guy. And he was letting his feelings out because he's alone. He's lonely, doesn't have anyone else to share it with. And a lot of people do that on social media. They think social media is their counselor, and it's really not. I don't know. I have a completely different perspective. I'm 50, so I guess my whole perspective on this.
Welcome to the Great Pill Podcast. Everybody around this board got a different perspective.
Yeah, like all the way from the dating scenario to the courting scenario to test driving the car before you buy it. It's I don't know. I don't agree with any of that. So in my opinion, I think that he should work on himself and do things that he needs to do for himself, and the right girl will come by. He doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. I mean, and guys, don't get all caught up on looking too pretty on the first date, because if you can't maintain it, we're going to be disappointed. I don't want some guy to come in looking all nice and sexy, and then 2 weeks down the road, he's got 5 o'clock shadow and you never see him looking nice again. That would drive me stark raving mad. I'd be like, get me the razor now. And then those are the type of guys that, again, that want a mommy figure to take care of them and help them prepare themselves. There's some women that are good at doing that. And there's some women that they want to be more dominated and them in control and those types of scenarios.
I agree.
So it just depends on the female, and it depends on the male.
I agree. I agree.
Salute to everybody on the panel, man. For real talk. It was a great conversation with all y'all. I mean, for those I've known and then those who I just met, this was fun.
Yeah,
this was amazing.
Nice to meet all you guys. Wes, can you type in the chat so I can get your channel real quick, if you don't mind?
I don't have a channel.
He comes in every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central Time. He's the only one that actually reads email. He actually responds to emails as if they're text messages. So I appreciate for that.
Another check mark for
what you trying to say?
Don't talk to me about responding to emails, Great Pill, because we had that email issue.
And man, you good. Man, you good. I'm talking about, hey, man, you good.
I'm not throwing shots at me. Respond.
No, I'm not. Trust me, not you. That's not where my head's at. That's where my head's at. Trust and believe. It's not. It's some other people. It's not you, neither, Inky. I was like, Jesus.
Did I hear Inky though?
Can I drop my link in the chat?
Of course, DL, man. You helped me out twice.
I got one more thing to say, and I'm going on mute. Can I say one more thing, Great Pill?
Yeah.
Okay, Ruby and Inky, man. Wouldn't you like for your man to tell you, hey, man, pack your clothes, man. We're going to Bora Bora. Will you start arguing with the man? Talk about, no, don't tell me what to do. I pack my clothes wherever I want to pack it. I ain't going.
No, I would say, hey, we need to discuss this. I have a business to run.
Hey, baby, don't worry about it, man. I got an extra. Listen, hey, baby. No, I got an answer too. Hey, baby, guess what, man? Your boy got a promotion, man. I got extra 70,000 coming in. Fuck your business, man. We're gonna go celebrate. What's up?
70,000. We're looking for lifetime retirement, honey. We're not looking for a month.
But tomorrow's never promised, Inky, baby. Listen, I want to celebrate with my woman.
I know, but I got kids.
All the hard work
grandkids.
you've done. Sorry.
I got kids and I got grandkids.
Yeah, we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave the kids with grandma, man. My mama wanna see them anyway.
We still have to discuss this.
Just pack your clothes and we going, man. Like, ain't nothing to discuss, woman.
And I
Let's
would be
go.
like, and drop your
You
drawers too.
don't you want some pina coladas? Don't you want that at the beach? Like y'all really hold on, man. Y'all really gonna sit and argue with your man for giving you a trip? Like, is that
No,
what you
it's just
expect me to
something that
believe?
has to be discussed. Any kind of major purposes would have to be
That's-
discussed. And like any major
done.
purposes
Right.
would have to be discussed. And it would have to be on both sides. Like make sure she's not busy, plan stuff out. That's you can't live by the seat of your pants for the rest of your life, Poppy.
Right. Like
Inky, if you tell me you got a
I'm gonna
free
have to
trip
get
for
you-
me,
I'd have to get you
fuck
a
that
Tinder
job.
Pro.
I'm calling in sick. Baby, we going. Fuck that, man. This will come around.
There's a difference though, Poppy. She said she has her own business. You can't just say fuck your own business, all that work and time she put into it. If it's a
Yeah,
fucking
we should-
Walmart job, then yeah, fuck that job. Let's go. But
But Lee,
when
you have your own business,
I do have my own business.
that means
I
you're calling the
I
shots,
have
right?
3 of
That
them.
means you're calling your chat. That means you're calling the shots, right? You got your
yeah,
own
but that
business.
doesn't mean she's got
don't-
100 employees. You
Right.
know, it could be just her or just her and one other person. I mean, a business is business, whether it's a big business or not. Like, I understand what you're doing. Like, I would be like, if my wife was like, "Hey, I got a promotion, we're going on a trip," I'd be like, "That's super cool of you, but we got some shit to figure out before we can just drop everything and go."
Exactly.
We got the kids, we got the dogs, we got the bills we have to make sure that we're covering while we're gone, and it's
Horses, cows, chickens, ducks. Who's gonna feed
I mean, all of it. Like, there's a lot that goes into it when you're in if you're just dating and you've been dating for a month and your man's like, "We're going to fucking Hawaii," and you're super into it, you fuck yeah, let's go, But in a committed long-term relationship or something like that, you can't. There's responsibilities outside of just fuck it, let's drop it and go. Again, the kids need to be taken care of. The
Even
dogs
my
and animals need to be taken care of. Sorry, go ahead.
Exactly. Even my best friend, whom's a doctor, she always lets me know she's going to be like, "Okay, I'm going to be gone for this month. I'm going on her fiance. They're not married yet, but her fiance he has a yacht and he does these trips around the world." And I'll be like, "Oh, I'm not going to see you for like 6 months, or I'm not going to see you for like a month or whatever." But she always talks to me and lets me know in advance because she has to plan. She's a doctor. When you have a business, you can't fly by the seat of your pants anymore. I can't fly like by the seat of my pants like I was when I was 20. I have people depending on me. And when you have people depending on you, then you have to think out for their best interests. Like, what if something happened to me and all of a sudden that, they have family and they have kids that they have to worry about feeding. And if I died, or something happened and the bills didn't get paid and all of a sudden they're out of a job, you have to think, you have to adult. And that's probably the hardest part of being adult is adulting.
All right, fair enough.
I love you all. Mwah.
Right.
Yeah,
y'all want
right,
to
right,
great.
right.
It's fine. I don't know. Is the VIX going on, or you don't know, Harley?
They were doing bingo, and then they're going to do a panel afterwards, I believe.
Okay,
So.
I'll roll over there. If Inky not doing anything, but I'll jump on both. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for coming on through. Inky, appreciate you. Even though you had some complications. DL, like always, man. Wes, we'll chop this up for next week Tuesday, like always. Harley, you're more than welcome. I'm trying to reach out to I already did to Traveling Fools, try to get a second segment because he said Vixen actually does like late nights, so that might work for I think a Thursday or Friday, I guess. So you have like a whole nother segment like this one on Friday. But that's it. So yeah, let me drop everybody, man, because y'all not gonna cut me off. Y'all more than welcome to hang in the back if y'all wish to. Shout out to DL for Myron triggers me, bro. Like nothing about Myron is good, man. I still appreciate you. All right, again, I appreciate everybody for coming on through. So again, I had the conversation earlier about do the right thing. Had a conversation about what do women want in that aspect. I hope that answers somewhat of your questions. Do the right thing. We had the reaction to Miss B. Taylor about what she stands in her square. Is a back and forth, pretty balanced. At least she was transparent, but at the same time, if somebody do you something wrong, you just can't say, "Hey, well, Let me do the same thing they're doing and see how the responses, see if I'm going to get the same results. Now, if she does that and she is getting the same the responses and she likes it, hey, more speed to it, but understand where this is coming from. So, and then me personally, I really do think people is kind of spreading their stuff out then if they're saying, hey, this is for my intentions. My intentions to have multiple guy friends. Cool. Do you have female friends? So what's the difference? They're both friends, right? All right. So maybe most guys like, yo, you just want the attention from men, but you don't want the attention from women because they're different. Is it attention for the if the roster's for sex, is the roster for marriage? Like, let it be known. That's my suggestion. Just be upfront, like, yo, this is where it's going. But we're all human, we make mistakes. So hopefully those type of individuals will learn from it and carry on. The guy with the flowers, everything else. Honestly, I'm kind of leaning with Harley Dad on this one. Because I actually saw the TikTok. I thought it was pretty much just like a kind of a maybe a media ploy, I guess, attention. Reading all the comments, seeing all his other content before that, it was a lot going on. So maybe that's it. I do have a TikTok, so this will be the thumbnail and everything will be over there, and I will tag him, and he's more than welcome to check this out and see how everybody conversation going. And that's it. So appreciate everybody, guys, for coming through. Oh, update. Sassy Trucker. I did like a part 1, 2, and 3 of Sassy Trucker. This is the woman that went from the States to Dubai and she got detained for yelling. Then it came out she wasn't detained for yelling. It was for her pretty much lying or something she was doing over there. Then we did the part 2 or the part 3 of the friends jumping on other people's panels, screaming and yelling. That was kind of loud. I sent y'all a link to actually get the full context over that because that was an extra of nothing. We had a whole bunch of he say, she say. So now somebody has sent me some information new about Sassy Trucker that she actually got back home from Dubai. So she's supposed to be in the States. So I got to look into that because you know how we do on Great Pill Podcast. We at least try to give, we love about the perspective, but we don't want to do the gossiping. So I got to look into that, see how that goes. So if I get some extra information, we'll react to that in the morning. But in the morning, tomorrow, 11 to 12 a.m. Central Time. We're gonna do a reaction, a conversation about Andrew Tate, the top G, and all his lies is debunked by a lot of people. So it's very wild. So but we'll see how that goes. All right, catch our guys later. Thank y'all for coming out. Peace.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.